let 'em see our part. I'm the devil's advocate, dancing in the dark, hungry for the knowledge, looking for the spark. Flip the coin, spin the truth. Tell me what you know. We feed the fire in the debate. Let information flow. Oh, let it flow. It isn't malice in my eyes, it's a desperate need to learn, to see the world from every side, watch the paradigms turn. So give me your perspective, push against the wall. In the clash of intellect, we rise above it all. No hard feelings in the groove, just a beautiful design. Your information meets my wit, crossing every line. I'm the devil's advocate, dancing in the dark, hungry for the knowledge, looking for the spark.
Yo, Laughing Man, what is up? What is up? Always here the earliest. I love ya. I love ya. Hope you had a good weekend. Hope you guys had a good weekend. What's up, everyone? What is up? Yeah. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone is doing well. Hi. I have an interesting live today. I've said this before. I'm not, and it is so surprising to know 50 to 55% of Muslim countries marry their first cousin. I did not know that. That is that is interesting. That is ridiculous. But that's interesting. We might be talking about something like that. But I've said this before. I'm not religious, but I'd rather live in a white Christian nation than not, in my opinion. I'd rather live in a white Christian nation than not. And I believe most people do too. We look at immigration stats and immigration pathways, right? Most people they immigrate to the West, right? Most people immigrate to most people go to Western countries. This is how it is. So I think white Christian nations produce the best results. So that's why I don't really agree with religion in any kind of way, but I would agree with more Christian ideology than I would any other kind of ideology. At the very least, they would denounce the ugly part of their history or ugly parts of religion. I know we know who heathens, we know. All right, but let's get started. I thought this was an interesting video, so I wanted to check it out. All right, I only saw a few minutes of it, but I wanted to watch it with you guys.
Christians used to allow for the unalivement of heretics. They used to
for a bit
that is preserving
flourishing
good moral
for society than Islam.
I obviously say yes. And when we assert that, we have to, I'm hoping today we can touch on several topics, because there are several things to look at when we're looking at these different religions and knowing which is going to produce better results. And that's the key here, which is going to produce better results. So whole well-rounded thing here. So we're not
Christianity has produced better results. You look at the UK, you look at the US, two countries that are predominantly Christian, they produce the best results. I'm sorry. People aren't clamoring to move to any Muslim countries, even though you could, right? You could right now, right? You could move to Muslim countries. People don't. Why do you think that the refugees, like a good amount of the refugees, are from Muslim countries?
talking about which we think is more moral, We're not talking about which we think is true. We're talking about which religion is going to produce better societies. And in terms of several metrics, Christianity just outperforms Islam on many, many, many important things. So I will start with 3. I'm hoping to get to more because there's a bunch of things. So I would say, first of all, Islam allows and promotes child marriage. That is extremely bad for society. That leads to harm done to girls, harm to their offspring, which leads to inferior societies. Islam also allows cousin marriage. Christianity, because of our ecclesiology, has gotten rid of cousin marriage. So that means that we have produced better societies because more cousin marriage leads to lower IQ, more birth defects, and actually less economic prosperity. And the third thing I'll bring up is actually the practice of polygyny. Islam does allow polygyny, but polygyny actually deteriorates society. If you don't know, polygyny is, specifically, it's a form of polygamy where it's one man and multiple women. So polygamy can be one woman, several men, but polygyny is one man, several women. So those 3 things are 3 ways in which that Christianity has done away with through trial and error, through understanding of the
Interesting. Nearly all of the world's roughly 50 Muslim majority nations permit child marriages, either legally or through systemic, religious, customary, and legal loopholes. So all, please smash the subscribe button. Don't smash the unsubscribe button. I'm roughly all 50 Muslim majority nations permit child marriages. This guy had laughed about it. Yeah, I mean, come on. Right there, it's true.
natural world through understanding of how we operate as a society, which has produced far better results. So dive in.
Who wants to begin? Okay, yeah, so when it comes to the 3 critiques, I think obviously this needs some time to dissect. It's very general. There's a lot of data that we need to process. But to begin, what we're trying to compare is obviously what we're establishing is that we have Islam, we have Christianity. If implemented in society, which one yields the better results, right? In terms of moral values that we can both agree upon, right? Now, when it comes to the first one, you said, not only did you say that when we have Muslims that would practice child marriage, you specifically said that Islam allows it. So I want to really focus on that. Where did you get the understanding from that Islam allows child marriage, given the fact that the Messenger, peace and blessing upon him, explicitly says in an authentic narration, لا ضرر ولا ضرار, no harm, no reciprocating harm. So the Messenger already explicates and says that when it comes to any relationship, if there's harm involved, it's going to be impermissible. So how do you get around that? Now, if you're going to argue that a more fundamentalist approach of the Quran and the Sunnah would allow for this, rather than a traditional approach, that's a different argument, but you specifically said that Islam allows for it. So what would be the evidence for that?
So yeah, great. So yeah, let's start with that. So with
when you are, it's just, I think it's funny that you can separate the religion from the country. Okay. Now, in the U.S., one of the things why I love, a white Christian nation is that essentially they separate it, right? One of the things that I love is that Christianity is not 100% intertwined in the American government, right? Why do I say that? Because it doesn't necessarily reflect maybe certain bad traits. So, Muslim nations are very religious. They're very intertwined with their religion. I literally just told you, 5 out of the roughly 50 Muslim majority nations permit child marriages. So how can you say that Islam itself doesn't support it? So you're saying that these Muslim nations are against Islam, right? They don't follow the teachings of Islam. I'm saying, come on.
regarding the harm principle to start, that's obviously interpreted differently. Because, for example, Sahih al-Bukhari allows for the killing of apostates, but that's going to harm them, but you're not going to throw...
Alvi, my brother, what is up? I missed ya. Glad to see ya. I always love seeing you come by.
Throw that out. You're going to allow self-defense wars in Islam, but that's going to cause harm to invaders, so that's obviously going to be interpreted differently. The 2 main ways we know that Islam allows and promotes child marriage is with...
This is a little bit different than my normal content, right? Men and women dynamic, or maybe racial, but I gotta say this, right? I don't hate Muslims. To be honest, I don't hate nobody, right? I don't hate no group, even if I critique them, right? You think I hate women, but I don't, right? I don't hate women. I don't hate anybody, even if I critique them, okay? So I'm going to say that off the bat. I don't have a extensive critique. Thank you. I do miss you, my brother, right? You're one of the OGs. I've known you for quite a long time now, right? So I love you. I do. I I don't hate Muslims at all, right? Even if I do critique them. But what I'm noticing, right, is that it's just a bit of I never said I never said I never what I notice is that Muslim is growing more and more. Right? I've said this before, or maybe I didn't, but I've noticed this before. Let's say 10 years ago, right? The community I live in Philadelphia. Right? I live in Philadelphia. Around me, I saw almost no Muslims, right? People weren't Muslim. I barely saw that. 10 years, maybe I say like 15 years, right? 15 years. Today, I'm seeing it constantly. I'm seeing it constantly. People I'm seeing are either they say they're Muslim, you know, they wear the burqa, all this shit. It's like such a drastic change. And it's not even like immigrants, right? It's a conversion, right? So I think Muslim is going about it many ways, right? Either immigration or conversion. And I'm like, I'm very sus about it, right? I'm very sus about it. It's like, there's such a growing religion. And why? I just wonder why. I mean, usually I ask these people why, why all of a sudden now you're Muslim, right? Usually they can't give me a really good, solid reason why they changed to be Muslim. So I find it sus that why is it such a growing religion in the West? So things like that, I always take it, cautiously, right? It's like we have a predominantly Christian nation. When you have another religion growing pretty fast, it's just interesting to me. We're occupied, so we can't be Muslim. I don't. What do you mean that? What do you mean we're occupied? I don't know what that means. I'm just saying it's a growing thing, right? I'm seeing either the immigration or like in the UK, the immigration of Muslims, or in the US, the conversions to Muslim uh, to being Muslim.
The Quran says that Muhammad is the pattern of conduct, but he married Aisha when she was 6 and consummated the marriage when she was 9. That is a child. There's no biological way that could not be a child. Therefore, it allows child marriage. And then, of course, Surah 65:4, which does allow girls.
Beautiful. Do you guys want to jump in, or should I continue?
You were shaking your head. What did you want to say?
Well, I mean, I have many things to say. First of all, Islam does not in any way, shape, fashion, or form support any idea of pedophilia. Or
They do. I literally said it, right? This is why this is the foolishness, right? You can't necessarily the greatest Ali. Wink, wink. Okay. Muhammad Ali. Yeah. I just think it's weird, right? I just think it's weird that more and more people are converting. I don't think you could separate Islam from Muslim nations. I really don't think so. I'm sorry. I think they're intertwined, very intertwined. The religion is very a part of the government. So when 50, almost all Muslim majority nations permit child marriages, you support it.
or underage marriage. Islam does not support anything like that at all. The Quran gives an age of marriage. It is very clear. It gives something called an age of marriage. And that age of marriage is when you reach puberty, in essence. Okay.
Puberty. So puberty is when you mature.
When you reach the age of puberty, you're 13. That is still predatory. What the? This is the problem, right? At least Christians, right? Christians can denounce Christians that do that shit, right? Christians can denounce the ugly past of Christianity where they did terrible shit to children. Yet why can't Muslim? Why can't they denounce that? And yet worse is that they're defending it, right? It's one thing to just be quiet about it and not talk about it, right? Sweep that shit under the rug. It's another thing to talk about and to defend it, right? You are literally defending this, right? You're defending these PDFs. You're defending the PDF acts, right? You're defending it. That is insane. How can you defend it? This is why I'm sus with, Muslims, right? I'm sus with it because it's one thing not talking about it, right? It's one thing sweeping it on the rug. It's another thing you're defending it. Why did I say that? Yeah, that's an ugly part of history, or that's ugly part of the book, whatever. And we don't support that. We denounce it. You literally said they support once you hit puberty. You start puberty at 13. I'm pretty sure as an adult, dealing with a 13-year-old is still categorize you as a PDF.
Has a 9-year-old ever completed puberty?
Sure.
Really? According to what?
Sure. I mean, this is life. These are things that happen.
Yeah, when we look at, for example, the classical text that he quoted, Bukhari himself has a narration where Aisha radiallahu anha refers to herself as a woman, right? So if you want to like internally critique our sources regarding what it says, regarding when the marriage happens.
You say internal or external?
Internal.
I'm not. This is external critique. This is definitely external
How
critique.
do you come to conclude that the marriage was at 6 and 9?
Because that's what your sources teach.
Beautiful.
But then you're also saying she's not a child, and I'm saying that's just incompatible with reality.
Okay.
There is no such thing as a 9-year-old woman. The hips on a girl do not develop till.
Well, I would say this, right? It's hard to say never, right? I'll be honest. I'm going to fact check everything, right? I'm going to fact check everything because I want to go about it factually, right? So yes, a 9-year-old girl can complete puberty, though it is biologically rare. For this to occur, a child must experience a medical condition known as progressive central precocious puberty. While it is increasingly common for healthy girls to begin the first stages of puberty at the age of 8 or 9, fully completed the entire process by the age of 9 requires unusually accelerated timeline. So it is extremely rare, right? It's biologically rare. But yes, technically it can happen. But I swear to God, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if let's say hypothetically, right? Hypothetically, all 9-year-olds completed puberty. So fucking what? I don't care if you completed puberty at 1. Who cares? It's still a child, right? I'm sorry, it's still a child. I don't care. I don't equate being experiencing puberty or completing puberty as to an adult. I'm sorry, that's not adulthood. Dwarfism, is it? I don't think so. Is that called dwarfism? I don't know about that, but I think it's ridiculous. How can you defend that shit?
Ages of 15 or 17, puberty is not complete. There is no possible world where it's biologically the case a 9-year-old could be anything but a child.
Okay.
It is a child, but I'm like I don't equate. For me, it's like I don't equate completing puberty as no longer a child, right? I don't. That's not my worldview of childhood to adulthood. I'm sorry, it's not. I think it's what would I say? I think it's responsibility, in my opinion, right? I think it's responsibility. I think it's mindset. I think it's experience. You are an adult, right? When you are when you are going out into the world, in my opinion, right? So at 18, usually you're going out into the world, right? You're going out into the world. You're gonna go live on your own, or you're gonna go to college to do your own things, right? You are essentially going out into the world, right? You're no longer being sheltered, or you're not supposed to be necessarily sheltered by your parents, right? Or completely sheltered by your parents. I'm sorry, a person at 9 can't get a job. They're not gonna. It's impossible today for them to get a job, right? I don't know how. I don't even think. I don't even think you can do a newspaper route, right? So you can't be an adult, right? You're not an adult. You're not paying any kind of bills, right? You're not even paying your phone bill. Again, you can't drink. You can't drive. So It's like when I feel like adulthood is experiencing certain responsibilities, right? So
Would you say that in order to be able to conceive and bear children, etc., you would have to have gone through some of the stages of puberty?
You would have to go through all the stages of puberty. So, for
Okay,
example,
good.
there was a
Wait.
cross-sectional study done that actually showed that girls who were 15 and under had 4 times higher the rate of death in childbirth.
Okay, so you said that it's never happened where this was the case, right?
There's no case where a 9-year-old could have completed puberty, no.
Okay, but hold on 1 second. I'm saying for somebody to get pregnant, they would have had to have gone through all the stages, correct?
No, they have to go through at least standard stage 4, because at the end of standard stage 4
Would
is when
you
they have
consider
puberty.
that person to be pubescent or prepubescent?
Did they have their first period?
I'm saying they got pregnant, so they would have already.
If they
had
got
their period.
pregnant, then they're post-pubescent, yes.
Good. So there's an example. I don't know if you know who it is. Her name is Lena Medina. She was 5 years old when she first got pregnant. Obviously, we don't agree with the means that she got pregnant by, but it's to show that it is the case that this is something that could still happen.
Okay,
Right?
I got a question.
this is these Muslims vehemently defending PDFs. I don't care if it can happen, right? I don't care if it could happen. Why would you do shit to a 5-year-old? I don't. It's like, what's the point? It's like when you defending it, it's like, what? Are you kidding? This is. I'm sorry. This is what I call barbarianism, right? And this is what I call uncivilized. This right here is what I call uncivilized. You are using a case. Yes, I've seen it before, right? I've heard children. I've seen it, which is disgusting, right? But those cases like that, right? They have to get a C-section. Literally, they can't birth it, right? Children can't birth babies. They can't. Their body isn't made for it. So they would have to get a C-section. So really, that already shows you that it can't be done, right? They're not able to birth the child. Yeah, they can have it because they have the necessary organs or whatever, but they can't birth it because it's not natural. So already that shows you that that shouldn't happen, right? It shouldn't happen because they can't. It is a biological. I believe it's a biological impossibility. Let's see. Uh, well, no, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, no, I'll read it, right? It is only through a C-section. You can only do it through a C-section, right? Because their body isn't suited to give live birth, right? And, through the canal, right? It's just insane that these people are defending it. I'm sorry. If you defend these kind of acts, you are uncivilized. You are uncivilized. You shouldn't be part of the Western nation. I'm sorry. All those people, right, that are defending it, you shouldn't be part of the Western nation. And I vehemently think we need harsher punishments for PDFs. For PDFs, we need harsher punishments. Your private parts should be cut off, right? You should be chemically and physically castrated, okay? And then whatever else we determine after that.
This is something that happened more
I had a
modern.
question. So you said if they have their period, they're a woman, they're an adult, they're post-pubescent. Was that 5-year-old an adult?
Yeah, so insofar as what I asked you, I was asking you in regards to what your criteria is that you're establishing. Right now, I don't think there is a criteria that you're actually giving in regards to what is considered to be a child, what is considered to be
Okay,
an adult.
I'll give it. I'll give it. You have to complete puberty. That is not completed till 15 to 17. That's why we as a society, we assign adulthood to the age of 18. Anything under 18 is a child. That 5-year-old.
That's why that's hard, right? Because again, technically, scientifically, you could complete puberty before, 18, right? There are cases. It's rare, right? It's very rare. Those are things where sometimes you could use the exceptions. That's why it's like, I don't know what 9-year-old is driving a car, right? I don't know what 9-year-old has a job. I don't know what 9-year-old is paying bills. I mean, at the very least, I know there is not a 9-year-old in the Western world that are paying bills, driving a car, drinking, smoking. It's like having any kind of adult freedoms.
Is not a woman. She's a child. She should not be married off.
Okay.
So how do you respond to the argument from natural law, which we see that, for example, Paul appeals to within Romans and Corinthians, that we can look at nature to be able to come to reason, and we see that there was no critique of this specific marriage of Muhammad والسلام, prior to the 19th century, which means that nobody prior to the 19th century made that critique, although he was criticized for other things, right? Other critics have made other points regarding it, but nobody made it regarding the marriage between him and Aisha radiallahu anha. So if you conclude that we both agree on the standard of natural law and coming to reason through nature and what God has instilled in us through who we are as human beings, and would agree that we would expect that if it was the case that it was wholly immoral during that time, how come we don't have that critique prior to the 19th century?
I got where you're coming from. Okay, so here's the first problem. Practically, a lot of the hadith were not known in the Western world. So that's the first problem. The second thing is Muhammad is supposed to be the pattern of conduct for Muslims, for people in all times. And he's supposed to be getting divine revelation from God. Yet he's girl. That's evil. That's setting a bad example for humanity. And this doesn't matter. All this shows at the end of the day is Muhammad was a product of the corrupt, backwards culture of his time. We now have the scientific evidence to know that is wrong, and it should never have been prescribed by some sort of apparently omniscient deity. Apparently.
Right, so what your response is that actually the reason why we don't see that critique is because there is no access to the hadith at that point. First of all, that's not even true.
I didn't say that. I said that practically. I said it's a pragmatic aspect.
Right, like on a mass scale, right?
No, on a mass scale.
However, we know that there is a lot of critiques that were raised against Muhammad ﷺ, and amongst those critiques, none of them were regarding the marriage. So the argument will still follow. Why? Because we do have the critiques, meaning that people have access to the Quran, people have access to the Sunnah, such as John of Chrysostom, for example, who critiques Muhammad ﷺ in his writings. Yeah, we don't find a critique about child marriage, right? So we still see that you saying that it wasn't widely accessible is irrelevant. Why? Because you have a big sample data where there's a lot of critiques regarding it, and not a single one prior to the 19th century.
So let's go on that. So we're conflating two things: the natural with what, as Immanuel Kant said, out of the crooked timber of humanity, nothing straight has ever grown. I agree. There were plenty of humans in the past that believed bad, corrupt, wrong things. They're not the standard. Like the Quran says, Muhammad. Hold on, let me finish. I'll let you finish. They're not the standard. They're not getting their information from omnipotent God. We now know today, this is wrong. This is bad. The temporal lobes are not even developed in a 9-year-old to properly communicate or express or understand activity. So if you're messing her up mentally. Not only
Sigma, what is up? What is up, my brother? What is up?
can you, all these physical problems, it's also mentally bad. It's socially bad. This is not good for anyone. We know that now. So Islam is allowing this. You guys are kind of defending it, which I'm shocked. It's child marriage.
That's the thing, right? It's like you are defending it, right? At the very least, the problem isn't that, you know what? If it's in the Quran, okay. You know, if Muhammad did it, whatever years ago, right? Like, plenty of people throughout history did terrible things. The issue is that, one, you should condemn it. Two, you shouldn't defend it. Why in modern day? Why in modern day you are defending PDFs? This is why, I'm sorry, Muslims that defend PDFs, they are uncivilized. They are barbarians, right? And it's like, seriously, you can, because this is the thing where Christianity allows you to nitpick. Christianity allows you to, you know, critique its religion. Go ahead, right? I mean, it's within it. People for decades, people critique Christianity, right? It's like, I don't see Muslims critiquing Islam like that.
We should just reject everyone out here should be outright, yes, child marriage is wrong. It should be abolished around the world.
We literally agree. We literally, before we began, we clarified that Islam, we don't believe there's something known as child marriage. Right? We already clarified that.
So,
now,
but I said child under the age of 18. Do you agree a child is under the age of 18?
No,
right. Again.
That's subjective.
Okay,
Right,
then we don't agree.
Literally, you see what he's doing? You see how the brain of these people work, right? Oh, like I don't agree with child marriages. Oh, but anyone under 18 is child, right? It's like, oh, but we're not talking about that. What the hell are you talking about? What are you talking about? You see this? You see how they converted like, oh, you know what? We don't agree to child marriages. Oh, but so you're talking about, girls under the age of 18, right? You don't agree with marriages between girls under the age of 18. No, that's not what we're talking about. What the hell are you talking about? What's other child you talking about? The sheer stupidity of that.
You don't think child marriage should be outlawed?
Real quick, but hold on. You switched it because a second ago you said that someone who's an adult is someone that completed puberty and that could have between 15 and 17. Now all of a sudden you're saying under 18. So I'm very confused on which time you want.
Let me clarify.
Let me finish. Now, regarding Islam, our stance is very.
What is there to be confused about? What is there to be confused? I don't give a shit if it's 15, 16 or whatever. Why are you? It's like, why are we not on the same page? Why are we not on the same page? It's like, are you kidding me? I'm sorry. No one under the age of 18 should ever be getting married, right? And controversially, I'm gonna be controversial. I know this would probably, get me. I don't know. I'm used to the hate. But I don't think anyone under the age of 18 should be having sex as well. As controversial as that sounds, I don't think anyone under the age of 18 should be having sex. I'm sorry. You shouldn't. I don't care if you're 15, 16, 17, 18. If you are under the age of 18, you shouldn't be having sex. High schoolers shouldn't be having sex. They shouldn't. I think that's so stupid. I really do. Because in my opinion, you haven't experienced enough of the world, right? You haven't stepped out of your parents' house to understand enough. So I don't think you should be doing adult shit when you're still a child, in my opinion.
Simple. Islam is going to be dependent upon the circumstances of the individuals. Meaning, if it was the case that at a specific point in time, it wouldn't entail physical or mental harm, and someone would have been post-pubescent and fully mature, then the marriage can be done, right? However, if it is going to entail, such as today, and this is the people according to Peter D. Glockman, when he mentioned this, if it is going to entail harm today, meaning that people can attain pubescence, but they don't attain monarchy, right? It is going to be the case that today would entail harm, therefore would not be allowed Islamically. It's very simple. Now, regarding your point regarding how, we know that there's humans around the world that have justified bad things happening in society. Well, the thing is, we're talking about a universal aspect, meaning that all humans, everyone who's critiquing Muhammad, none of them recognize this something that's inherently abhorrent.
Well, hold up. Now I gotta address, you've been going for a while. Let me address all these points. Finish up. You get 20
now,
seconds.
Paul is the one that appeals to natural law. Obviously, we know that when it comes to natural law, when it comes to knowing these things that are known by disposition, they are known prior to revelation. Right? So if it is the case that they're known prior to revelation, we would expect at least someone to make that critique.
Okay, now I'm going to respond. You've talked for a while. I'm going to go on for a couple minutes here.
Yeah,
so first of all, not everyone around the world had access to the Hadith. Okay, there's a problem here. It's not like we had a big global community and all voted, I think Muhammad was bad. This happened in 1857. No, did not happen. So this is, you're appealing to something that just did not happen. So let's go back to me trying to tell you what a child is here. Let's start with this because we need to get over this, okay? So no puberty is complete between the ages of 15 or 17. We can't, as a society, constantly be going around checking hip development, Tanner stage 5 development. That is impractical. So we just assign adulthood to the age of 18. That's still far better than 9. That's the problem right there. Now, if you want to talk to what ancient people did, we can talk about that. So Michael Satlow, talking about the ancient Jews in Palestine, said they were marrying girls on average between the ages of mid-teens to early 20s. Amram Troper says late teens to early 20s. Brent Shaw in the Roman Empire, he says late teens to early 20s, so does Keith Hopkins. Then you get to the Middle Ages. Kim Phillips in her book Medieval Maiden says again, yeah, that's the thing. So it was not a normal practice to be marrying a 6-year-old, let alone. This is evil, and if Muhammad is the pattern of conduct, that's setting a bad example. That's going to lead to all sorts of harm, as it
Brent, what is up, my brother? What is up?
has around the world. UNICEF reports high levels of child marriage in North Africa, in the Middle East. This is horrible.
Beautiful.
We are torturing these girls. Why would we not want to reject that and say, yes, child marriage should be outlawed around the world. No one should be getting married around the ages of under the ages of 18. And yes, if you're going to bring up random U.S. states that allow it, I condemn them as well.
Hold on, guys. Did you know that over 80% of people that
Comes to Ezekiel 16, there's also
that's the best way to support this channel. So let's give the audience, they could.
topic in regards to this, right? Christianity versus Islam, which one's better for society? So what he's saying to you in regards to Paul appealing to natural law, etc., that's going to be the criteria that we're going by here, right? We're going by Christianity versus Islam. Islam itself doesn't give a particular age; it gives a criteria. Christianity
And I say that's bad.
1 second.
I say that's bad.
Christianity also does the same thing. It doesn't give a particular age. Okay. I think you appeal sometimes to Ezekiel 16. There's also the passage in 1 Corinthians 7, right? Neither of those two gives an age. They only give a physical or,
But you know Christianity has affected the government, right? I mean,
yeah. So
Let me-
it's only
let
a
me address
physical,
that. Let me address
physical-
that.
I'm not
Okay, finish up. I want to address the passages you brought up.
Okay, so I'm not appealing to the passages in particular, by the way. But my point being is that in you saying there's a particular age that we have to go by, etc., well, that age is not something that's going to hold up in regards to society for every single society. As he quoted for you from Peter D. Gluckman's paper, menarche and mental maturity is something which used to be in line at some point, and now what we find is a fluctuation between the two of them, whereby in today's society, we don't find them being the same. They're going to be vastly different.
Right.
Go ahead.
Okay, so
Yeah.
hold on. Let me address her, then we'll go to you. So yeah, so on this whole issue, so yes, I agree that it doesn't set an age, but Ezekiel 16 says that you cannot. The age for love making does not happen until after she has basically completed puberty. The breasts are fully formed, her hair is fully grown. She has to
Which
complete it.
translation is
Hold on,
asking?
let me finish. So that's the issue right there. But again, at the end of the day, we're talking about the effects of society. Christian societies are outlawing this. We don't see 9-year-olds getting married in America. We don't see it happening here. This is bad. But you guys over here are saying, yes, it's perfectly fine to take a girl to.
We literally
And we
said
should be okay with
we already
that.
said that we shouldn't do that because of the studies that we've shown you, and you're not responding to them
Yeah,
for some reason.
just
Can you have
No,
sex?
nobody should be having intercourse with someone who's 9 years old because
So
that
then
would-
Muhammad was a sinner.
No, it doesn't
Insofar
follow.
as today.
Yes, it does.
It doesn't
No, it
follow.
doesn't.
You know why it doesn't follow? Because at that point, it didn't entail harm.
Yes, it did.
Okay, and I'm giving you a reason why it didn't.
Yes, it did.
Can you address that? According to Peter D. Gluckman.
What's the name of the paper?
Development.
Evolution, development, and the timing of puberty.
Exactly, beautiful. And he makes the conclusion in his graph that there was a point when menarche and pubescence were in correlation. That is no longer the case.
No, you're confusing. You're confusing the chart. The chart is age of menarche and social cycle development.
Exactly.
That's the point, though.
Were they matching at some point?
What was that? Yeah, they were.
Are they
Yeah.
matching? Are they matching today?
No, they're not. No, but that's not the point.
Thank
the
you.
point is that the green on the chart, what you're pulling up there, the green shows when age of menarche happened. And at that time, they're saying, well, the girls didn't need that much education at that time to develop. So they could be more implemented in society quicker. But now we have more education because it's better for them. Thank good for the West promoting more education. Amen to
And
that.
Islam.
So
And
that's
Islam,
so let's go on to that. But that's the problem. Age of menarche did not happen according to that paper at 9. There is no possible.
That's
Hold on,
irrelevant.
let me
That's
finish.
literally
Let me
straw
finish.
man.
Let me finish.
Go ahead.
There is no possible way that Aisha could have reached puberty, could have had her first period at 9, according to the paper you cited, because that shows it had to happen after the age of 10, and that was at least 1% only.
Wait, hold on. So you agreed with me earlier when I first asked you in regards to somebody getting pregnant, they would have to have their period first, right?
Yes, and Aisha couldn't.
Okay, but I gave you.
Damn, Brent, that's terrible. Fluke out of 2 dinners. He said that you weren't hungry? I don't get it. So he So you guys didn't go to dinner because he said you weren't hungry, so they went to dinner without you? That's disrespectful.
An example. You said it's an impossibility. Is it logically impossible
Is it logically impossible for what?
for somebody to not have their period before 9 or at 9?
No, wait, hold on. What are you saying? This doesn't,
You said
follow what I was
it's
trying to say.
impossible for her to have had her period by then, correct?
Biologically, yes.
Okay, and I gave you an example of today.
Today, yes.
Yeah, modern day, a girl who's at the age of 5 had her period and she was pregnant as well.
Yeah.
So it's not impossible.
So basically what you're saying is there was this crazy genetic
She's not the
fluke.
only- no, it's
Hold
not
on,
the
hold on.
only thing.
The
I'm giving you
reason
an
why that can
example
happen
by
today
name.
is because, according to the paper you cited,
Right.
nutrition has gotten better. And if nutrition gets better, that means the age of menarche starts to lower. But in the time of Muhammad, it wasn't. It was higher.
Really?
So yeah, that's
not
what
what
the
all
chart
the study says,
says.
though.
Sorry,
Study says more than that, though.
One second,
No,
one second,
that's what
guys.
the chart
I'm sorry, I'm
says.
sorry.
That's what the chart
Real quick,
says.
good.
Yeah, so Imam al-Shafi'i, okay, he's somebody who comes after Muhammad, peace be upon him. He speaks about the individuals of his time period,
Right.
as well as Aisha radiallahu anha, by the way, but this is afterwards. So Imam al-Shafi'i, rahimahullah, he speaks about the people that come after in his time
Where you gonna go? Where are you flying to? Dizzy, where are you flying to?
period, okay? And he says that he has observed with his own eyes where an individual who was 9 years old, okay,
It's like they're defending it so hard. I don't understand it. Red Door, what is up, my sister? What is up? They're defending it so hard. Right? They're defending that it's okay to deal with a 9-year-old.
she gave birth to one child, and then her child
Where's it
gave
say
birth.
that?
Yeah, this
What
is
source?
in his books.
What's the source?
It's a risala.
So it's an Islamic
Risala.
source.
He's a historian.
He's observing
because
it.
he's someone that's contemporary to that time and he's making observation.
So according to you, so again, I said this was an external critique.
Oh,
I'm
my
saying
goodness.
that if that was
Does that mean we're
can't
talking
happen.
historical
Yeah, we're talking
According
about
to
historical
you've cited
dates.
now two sources that contradict each other. The paper, Evolution, Development, and the
Oh, really? You're doing humanitarian aid in Europe? That's pretty badass.
timing of puberty shows that could not have happened.
No, it
But then
doesn't-
you
it doesn't-
said,
wait, where does
but
it say
according
that
to our
it could-
Islamic
wait,
sources,
where does it say that could not
hold
happen?
up. According to the Islamic
It
sources,
say that.
it did
It says
happen.
literally they can have earlier
Therefore,
miracles.
you just said Islam contradicts reality. Thank you.
So real quick, you're making a few blunders. First of all, the study never says it couldn't have happened because the study, number one, it doesn't account for the specific sample within Middle Eastern countries. That's number one, and it doesn't account for anomalies. That's number two. Number three, Imam al-Shafi'i in Risala, he does mention this, and he's someone that's contemporary to
So
that
let's
time.
go on that. Anomalies. We're talking about which is better. Anomalies.
So real
So
quick,
if an anomaly happens, it's okay to have sex with them?
Can you just let me finish? Again,
it's okay to have sex with
let
them?
me finish. So, no, you shouldn't do that. I already clarified.
Whoa, okay, good, good. Keep going.
Let me finish. So again, we know in the case, according to the study, in the case that someone is pubescent at that time, it wouldn't entail harm. That's by your concession because you said
No, I didn't.
You said it because you said that it's not possible for Aisha to have been pubescent.
That's disrespectful. I think that's not cool. What your brother did was not cool at all. I mean, like, why would your brother do that? Yeah, that is. I would set your brother aside and talk to him. Why would he do that? Why would he speak for you? I'm sorry, my brother. I would hold your ground. Right? I would say I would not let that disrespect slide. I would not let that disrespect slide. To my brother speaking for me when he doesn't know what I'm not letting my brother speak for me. What the fuck is that? Right? Particularly, I'm the oldest, right? I'm the oldest, and I would not let my brother speak for me. Big Dabs, I don't know why would y'all read your messages. You're saying a whole lot of gibberish, right? You're saying a lot of things like, yeah. I mean, you could see your messages. So if you want, your messages are there. I'm just not gonna. There's really no point in reading it because you're speaking about your own topics.
If it was the case, then according to you and the conclusion they made from the study, then it would follow indeed, right?
You're taking what I said out of context.
No.
No, let me clarify.
Show me line.
I did not say I said there was no. I was talking about prepubescent.
Right.
Aisha was prepubescent.
We disagree with that.
Yeah, we
So at that
disagree.
point,
By
but
her
in
own
terms of
words, she
harm,
says that she wasn't.
when I was talking about harm, I mentioned physical and mental harm as well.
Beautiful.
So it doesn't matter. You're having teen,
Doesn't
a preteen, anything, it's going to be harmful to them. We should reject this. Sex with anyone under 18 should be out.
I mean, your avatar. I mean, like you're free. I mean, like I'm already allowing you to write the things you're right? So it's okay that you want to spread the word. I'm not just gonna say it for you. right? I'm letting you say it, right? So I don't mind, right? You're typing in the chat. It's cool. It's helpful, right? I mean, even if you troll, it's all good too. But there's really no point in me reading your messages because it doesn't really pertain to me or the topic or anything. You're saying what you want to say, but it's all good. Oh, I'm beyond pissed because I'm still hungry and I try to get a little prick canceled my dinner twice. Bro, yeah, don't let that prick do that for you. That's disrespectful as hell, right? It's disrespectful that he will speak for you, right? Particularly, he speaks for you in a way that would, I don't know, disadvantage you or I don't know, hurt you. That's not cool.
Outlawed.
Is that according to
Islam says it's
Christianity?
okay.
Is that
Can
according
we
to
make like a final point and move to like
Hold on.
a second
Yeah.
I
point?
just want to know, is that according to Christianity or is that according to
I get it. Ezekiel 16,
modern,
yes.
modern secular
According to
society?
Ezekiel 16.
Ezekiel 16
What
doesn't give you a
translation?
number. It doesn't
'Cause,
say
yeah,
18.
it says
just gives
entered
you-
puberty in the
wait.
NIV.
No.
Yeah, and it gives you,
Let me read
hold on, it gives
I
you
gotta read it
certain
then.
indications of
Hold
pubescence,
on, let me
which
read
we
it.
also don't disagree with, right?
Let me
You
read-
can't contradict this now.
So when does puberty complete?
Yeah, again, it completes when the
Can we,
individual goes through all of
let's
these.
When
allow
does puberty
Yeah,
complete?
the shift to get a word in as well.
So when puberty completes between the ages of 15 or 17.
Is
So
that
it
the
says
case
here in
everywhere?
Ezekiel 16 when he's talking about the girl, he says, "Okay, I made you flourish like a plant of the field."
Wait, so 15
and
is
you
okay,
grew up- Hold
Hakeem?
up, you go, man, calm down. It's
Go ahead.
okay. So
Go ahead.
I'm just reading. Your form, and your hair had grown, yet you were naked and bare. When I passed by you again, I saw you, and behold, you were at the age of lovemaking. So when the breasts are formed, when she is fully formed, then is the age for lovemaking. So according to this principle in Christianity that we get from the Bible, no, you have to wait till she
Thank you, my brother. Right? I'm a big geek. Right? I'm a big geek.
is finished. That's the age of lovemaking. Meanwhile, in Islam, you're saying no, it can happen before that. That's bad. That's harmful. The studies all show this. Do you deny that the studies don't show child marriage is harmful?
No, I agree with that. We already got
You
this.
agree that? Okay,
and
great,
Under Islam,
great.
wait,
Holy
real quick.
straw man.
And under Islam, everything that's harmful is going to be impermissible. Now, let's get that out of the way.
Hey, quick break from the show. I want to give a big shout out to Laga. Great this.
Not done.
Quite simple. Hip development. Hip development.
Oh my God. Yeah, PubMed says that when it comes to puberty and when it comes to menarche, there's a paper. I could cite it for you if you want. I could
about
bring it for you
menarche
right
at
now.
this point.
Okay. It literally says that pubescence can be achieved at different points, and it's achieved via different social standards. When it comes to geographic, when it comes to economic, these are all different
Does it say
factors
it's
that come into
completed?
place. Right?
I would say this, right? I would hold these people to their word. So, do you believe that it's okay today for anyone to marry a 9-year-old? Let's be on record. Let's just be on record. Do you agree that that it's okay to marry a 9-year-old today? How about say that at the very least? Do you believe it's okay to have relations with a 9-year-old today? Do you believe it's okay to have relations, an adult male having a relations with anyone under 18? Do you agree? Let's see what I would have said that. Right? I would have said, tell them to where's their stance? Sorry if too personal, but what side of Vietnam did your family come from? My mom's side. My mom's side lived about an hour away from Hanoi, right? So no, my family were Buddhists. They were Buddhists. My mom's side live an hour away from Hanoi, and my dad lived around Saigon.
It literally talks about
Being
the
completed.
individuals going through puberty.
Being completed.
Yes.
Anything show hip development is complete at age 11.
Yeah, so it's talking
No,
about puberty.
there are none. It is biologically impossible for the hips of a girl to not be complete
Yeah, we
until the age
can
of
allow
15 to
you
17.
can make that up, and then we want to move on to the other facts as well. Because if you just hone on one thing, then we're not going to be.
But I
able
just want to know,
There's-
did
there's-
Muhammad
there's-
consummate the marriage with a 9-year-old?
No.
He did not.
Look, what I'm saying,
She
what I'm
wasn't
saying here,
nine,
what
yes or
I'm,
no?
what
You're
I'm-
not saying no to that.
Just
you're
say yes or no and expound.
what I'm saying here is that she was not a child at the time of marriage. She's not a child at the time of consummation. In fact, even in the traditional account, there's a waiting period. Now, this comes to the other angle that I was trying to get to, is why do marriages take place in the first place? Marriages take place not just for intimacy. They take place, especially for a leader, they take place to establish alliances. And this, in a way, goes back to the issue of polygamy.
Who was Aisha's father?
Abu Bakr.
Oh, he did establish an alliance with him?
You don't understand how the Eastern culture is. Eastern culture is when you want to bring people together for various political or social reasons, you do so through the vehicle of marriage.
That doesn't change anything I'm saying, though.
No,
a
well,
9-year-old is always a child.
Hold on.
Always a child. What Muhammad did was evil. He's not a good moral example. He should be thrown out because he's actually causing all sorts of harm. We see this happening in Iraq. We see this happening in Sudan, in Yemen, where they think it's okay to start sleeping with children.
Unfortunately, you're just appealing to the emotions. That's it. That's all you're doing. You're appealing.
I can cite studies. You want some studies?
You're appealing to the emotions.
So you think it's okay to... I just want to be clear.
No, nobody said on the panel.
No one said that.
I don't know. Wait, one second, real quick. I don't know why you keep going back to that same question.
Why is he speaking for him? I think this guy was going to say okay. I think he was going to say it. This guy is jumping in and talking for this guy. Why is he talking for him? Because I believe this guy knows this guy's sus. I believe this guy was going to say yes. I believe he was going to say yes. I'm sorry. I think this guy knew this guy was going to say yes as well.
Already answered like a few times.
You didn't answer.
No, we already said no. Nobody today should be.
You said no. The only person I heard that said no was him. I literally not seen any of these other people said no.
I'm not talking about today. I'm talking about Muhammad.
Let me finish.
I'm talking about Muhammad. Did Muhammad do something immoral?
No, we don't believe that.
Okay, so sleeping, having is not immoral.
Hey, brother,
presence is a fallacy.
what are you doing? You're saying
It's always been immoral, right? This is a thing where we could use, right, today's ideology to reflect on the past. So let's say this, okay? During slavery, it wasn't immoral. During slavery, it wasn't immoral to have slaves. So what, you saying now it's not immoral to have slaves? Because back then it was? Absolutely ridiculous. It is the ability. Big Dabs, thank you for the words of love. Being a civilized nation, right? You can use, right, today's ideology to reflect on the past, right? We can say, correct, during the certain ages, certain things were okay. Certain things during that time wasn't viewed as immoral. We could say that, but we could also say, using the lens of today, yes, it was immoral then. It was immoral, right? It is immoral. Two things can be true at once. Yes, during that time, they didn't view it as immoral. They didn't view it as bad. Great. No one is saying that. No one is saying that they viewed it as immoral then. We're saying that today, with the lens of today's age, we can say that is immoral. Yes, watch seriously.
Saying that, hey, it was it's immoral today, therefore it must have been immoral back then. But you would even agree, Mr. IP, that there's things that we can derive through reason, and over time we can trial and test. For example, according to you in Deuteronomy 22, 28 to 29, your Yahweh bit, it says that if somebody grapes a child, they can marry that child, right?
No, it doesn't. No, it does not. That is a lie.
Let me land.
That is a lie. That is not what the word tafas means.
Now,
it is what Paidan means.
Now, you would say that, hey, that at that specific time point would be moral. But because, let me land.
No.
But because of how society operates today, because of what we know as Islam as urf, or aka accustoming to the natural custom of society, therefore will be deemed impermissible through reason, natural theology.
So, okay, right? Good. So we use our reason.
Beautiful.
So we need to develop on what is the law taught.
No. So wait, do you think that's not Islam?
He just kept talking. Now he wants to keep going. He won't let me respond. You see how that works? Kind of weird, isn't it? So anyway, let's go back to this. So here's the problem. You can't do that. Muhammad is getting revelations from supposedly an omniscient God.
Was Yahweh giving revelation?
Hold up. And he's saying, you're the pattern of conduct for humanity. Oh, by the way, you can have there, according to him, because he got some dream from Allah.
Same as Yahweh in Deuteronomy.
So at that point,
What's up?
At that point, now you can't say that. Now Allah is wrong. You need to use reason and science to show that he is wrong. This is a problem for you.
Beautiful. So again, IP for some odd reason believes that reason and the revelation given in the Quran are going to be incompatible. No, that's not true.
It
Because,
is?
so one second, as Sunni Muslims, we believe that there's going to be things that are inherently immoral, such as injustice, for example, prior to revelation. For example, in Islam, just give me a second. In Islam, we believe that drinking alcohol is going to be impermissible. That is going to lead to a greater harm, which Christian societies allow.
Chilling. I'm just chilling. I thought this was interesting, right? Because again, these 4 Muslims are practically defending PDF files. So I just wanted to check it out. I'm not a religious person, right? I'm not a Christian, so I don't really have a skin in the game. I just thought it was insane that anyone can defend it, right? So just checking it out. You know, just chilling, not doing much.
Right? However, there is going to be circumstances, for example, where you need to survive, where there's nothing accessible to you, where you do need to drink alcohol. So guess what? Islam, in that specific condition, allows reason to say that, hey, this thing is going to be the only viable way to live, therefore it's going to be permissible. So yes, Islam is compatible with natural law. It is compatible with reconciling specific commands over time.
Great. So reason, let's go on that.
Now, you said the thing, Muhammad is said to receive revelation. Well, according to Yahweh, when it's spoken in Deuteronomy, is also given revelation. That's not a defeat to the argument. You have to show why is it the case that Deuteronomy gave the law to marry children, yet we don't do it today. Right?
So let me get back to this. My main point, can you marry a 9-year-old? Is that allowed in Islam?
No, today no.
Today, no. So it was. It was.
Right.
So it was. So in that
Actually, it is today. I literally said it, right? These guys want to be factually correct, okay? So let's do it. I already said it. Out of the 50 majority Muslim nations, they all allow you to marry children. All Muslim nations allow you to marry a child. They are barbaric. I'm sorry. I'm going to be honest. They are uncivilized. They allow it. Right? They allow it.
Deuteronomy, you could have married children and now you can't.
See, he won't let me talk.
But you don't want to address the
I'm
Deuteronomy.
sure.
I don't have skin in this game because, you know, it's 1 Christian versus 4 Muslims. You know, the only skin in that game is like, how could you defend that shit? Right? How can you defend that?
I'm showing you the double standard.
I'm going to get to Deuteronomy. I'm going to get to Deuteronomy.
Okay, he's going to get to Deuteronomy.
So you're talking about Deuteronomy 28, right?
22,
28.
Yep.
Yeah, 20. So going back to my point about child marriage, though, okay, you just basically became a moral relativist. Okay, because now the point, let me finish.
You think that's moral relativism?
Habibi, calm down, Mehdi. It's going to be okay. So, because now it's okay to have a girl in the time of Muhammad, and it caused all the harm then. But now, because we've used reason and science, we can now know that the guidance that Allah was giving
That's
Muhammad.
Not moral relativism.
And there it goes again. There it goes again.
Did he just say he was going to get to Deuteronomy?
Now we can use we can now use reason and guidance to know that Allah was wrong. Thank you. Islam, the guidance it gave that through Muhammad was wrong. Let's get to Deuteronomy 22 now.
Yes.
The word is tafas.
Oh, what about in the Greek?
Hold up.
What's in the Greek?
It's a Hebrew, man. So the
but
word
what
is
about the
tafas. So we don't want to go on the original language. So look at
wait.
We can't use the original. They said they want me to get to Deuteronomy 22. Now they don't want to talk.
Let him finish his Deuteronomy point, and then we'll let you respond.
So the word is tafas. That is the same word used in Genesis when the wife of Potiphar grabs Joseph's cloak and says, "Come to bed with me." That does not mean rape. When you said it meant rape, it lied. You're going off the NIV translation. That is wrong. It just means to sort of flirtatiously seize. And we see that in the parallel passage in Exodus when it talks about when a man seduces a girl and they're found, then you'll pay those shekels to the father.
There's a big problem with that, though, is that the Latin Vulgate translates Deuteronomy 22, 28 to 29 the same way as it translates 25 to 27, which you already agree is about
It's
rape.
Latin.
So there's no point of taking 28 to 29 to not be about rape when your earliest Christians translate and understand it to be about rape.
They were wrong.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, see, that's the difference. That's the difference. See, I can use reason. Notice the difference here. Notice the difference. Notice the difference. I use actually the Bible to show you what the word means. They go, but these later Latin translators didn't agree with you. I don't care. I'm using the
So
Hebrew.
everybody was right, and you're the only one that's
Hey, if the shoe fits, my brother, the shoe fits. I'll take it.
I guess he didn't have the Holy Spirit.
You hinged on one of the wrong issue. Okay, the issue isn't regarding tefas and whether they were raped or not raped. The issue is the word paida in the LXX. You agree the LXX is used by the disciples, correct? It's a valid source that the Bible uses.
that one. They don't say that. No.
Oh, they don't. Just conveniently, they don't use that
No.
one. But
Special
is it a source that they use?
They use the Septuagint as a source for like prophecy, typology, that kind of stuff.
Right, and they get them wrong there
But
too.
Matthew
No
also uses the
problem. They
Hebrew.
get
That
it
doesn't
wrong
change
there too.
anything.
They
This
get it
is
wrong
so
there too.
irrelevant to the overall point.
In the LXX, does it use the word paida?
I don't have to look it up. That's irrelevant to the point.
Look it up.
No. I want to get back to the point. This is
Look it
so
up.
relevant. I already addressed this.
How is it relevant?
Do
Wait,
you
how is that
agree?
relevant?
Do you agree that it is wrong to have in Christian
hypocrisies.
society?
Give time out.
They keep right from the top.
Hold on.
You have said that question a bunch of
Okay,
times.
Exactly.
let's-
And he
my-
answered it like 50
let me
times.
land my main point then. I will land my main point here.
Oh, back to square one.
So now, like, actually progress this.
problem is that we're talking about which society is going to produce better. Sorry, which religion? Okay. The point we're trying to get is which is actually producing. I'm over here saying that Christian societies has outlawed this stuff. It's wrong. It's evil. You guys are saying, no, it can happen in some circumstances, and therefore it's okay. That's the point I'm trying to drive home here. You guys keep saying it's okay to have if the circumstances allow, but that's what Islam teaches. And then you're just saying, well, reason and science says that we can't. Great, reason and science contradict Islam, and we use that instead of Islam. That's my point. So we get back to the main point.
All right, we'll let you guys close out on this topic.
All right, beautiful. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of problems. You said that it's been totally banned, but we see historically speaking, like it's found in A Lily Among the Thorns, that historically speaking, Christians would use verses like Numbers 31 and Deuteronomy 22 to justify raping young girls and finding that to be holy. Also, you're trying to like completely just ignore the Septuagint, but your Christian saints like Augustine and stuff make arguments that if the Torah is preserved, then it's preserved in all recessions, including the Septuagint. So we have to look at the texts and compare the Hebrew and the Septuagint and understand the meanings from both of them. You can't just only look at the Hebrew, you have to look at the Hebrew and the Septuagint. And in the Septuagint, it uses the word force and child. So the child is being forced to be married.
No, it's not true.
Yeah, so just one more thing to add.
I think, to be honest, I never cared for any religion. So I just, this is my own controversial take. I always view religion as personal, like I said, personal take, man-made, right? So when it's man-made, it's flawed, like man. It's just flawed, right? There are so many flaws in religion because it represents men, right? It represents humans because we are very flawed.
To what you were saying specifically. So when we're looking at modern day societies as well, you're saying that because these things don't occur in Christian societies, that therefore means, and that they do occur in Islamic societies, that therefore means that Islam is worse for, for society in general than Christianity. Is that basically
I'm saying yes,
summarized?
because
That's what you're saying, right?
Well,
I'm not done. I just want to make sure that's what you
one
said.
sentence.
Okay, go ahead.
Because you guys even acknowledge Islam is allowing with girls under 18,
We said
that is going to produce
like
worse
10
results.
times.
Don't
But
say it,
anyway,
don't say it.
anyway.
They won't even let me make the sentence.
Well, yeah,
He said
Let me
my
make the
conclusion.
sentence.
Yeah.
Calm
It's been like
down.
10
Okay.
sentences, but
That
go
is going to
Yeah, I know this is off topic, but have you seen the what if about John Rambo versus John Wick? I mean, I love John Wick, but sorry, John, what about you? I think John Wick will kill Rambo, right? I'm sorry. I didn't see I don't know if that's a video or just a topic, but I'm sorry. I love John Wick. I've watched Rambo, right? I've watched all the Rambo. I'm sorry, right? John Wick will kill Rambo. I mean, it will be a bloody fight, right? It will be a bloody fight, a bloody ass fight, but John Wick will win.
produce worse societies by your own admission. Yes, it will, because the studies show it does.
Cool. So the problem is, do you know what Mill's method of difference is?
I don't
guys
remember
stop
off the top of my
asking
head.
questions.
Okay. So, I'm sorry.
What happens is you guys ask him a
okay.
question.
It's kind of rhetorical. Okay,
Yeah.
I can explain it, no problem. Mill's method of difference just simply tells us that if it's the case that we're proposing that some sort of thing has a commonality between two particular events. So in this case, let's talk, for example, a Christian society that has many gangs and a Christian society that doesn't have many gangs. Okay. The individual who's coming to a conclusion saying that, because this society is Christian, it therefore has many gangs, is going to be wrong, because there is not only it does not occur only in one society. There has to be some other sufficient cause such that it would say that this is the reason why it's occurring in this society and in that one. Okay, good. So is it the case that it's occurring in every single Muslim society that there is child marriage?
I don't remember the statistics off the top of my head. But that doesn't change the point.
Wait, does it
let me
occur
finish
in
now.
every single Muslim?
This is the thing where this is why I think debates like this is unproductive, right? because you ask questions, no one person is gonna know it all, right? No one person is going to know it all. So it is true that nearly all of the world's roughly 50 Muslim majority nations permit child marriages, right? So they said pretty much all Muslim nations permit child marriages. Well, I mean, like, what are they fighting in the forest? I mean, come on, are they fighting in the jungle? Like, I think I'm assuming a fair, a fair environment, right? A building, right? They're just gonna fight in a building. I mean, it's gonna be fair to both. Who's gonna fight in a jungle? I'm sorry. Why would John Wick be in a jungle? So I would think it's just going to be a fair place, a plain, I don't know, like an arena, right? So, because I mean, like Rambo is not going to use a guerrilla war tactics in just like a room, right? So no, I'm viewing it as a room.
Society.
Just finish your point, and then we're going to move into.
You guys acknowledged already that Islam is allowing and teaching this.
That's my question.
We already.
Marriage in Deuteronomy 22. Like, what is this?
No, I didn't. No.
We've already. Okay. So there is a gentleman by the name of Hans Kuhn, Catholic theologian, not necessarily a friend of Islam. Okay, not necessarily a friend of Islam. He has some criticism of Islam. But the issue is about society, about what religion is good for society. So this is what he has to say. Again,
he's a theologian, right?
He's a Catholic theologian.
Theologian. Okay, just want to make sure we know his credentials.
Yes. You want to go Google his name?
No, I'm going to talk to some sociologists later. But
all right, go ahead. So is Islam a religion of the law? Originally, it was not a religion of the law, but the religion of an ethic. The Quran is concerned with ethical imperatives for human society, not all of which were new. However, on the new basis of faith, these norms work in favor of more justice, fairness, restraint, moderation, mediation, compassion, and forgiveness.
What's his evidence?
And he has a lot of evidence here. I just gave you one.
What's his evidence?
I mean,
I want to ask him. What's your evidence? What's your evidence that it causes more justice?
It's a very long quotation.
Because
here.
I can cite actual researchers, like sociologists.
So you think we think this is a crackhead or something?
My goodness. Now he's a theologian according to your admission. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to cite an actual book. It's called The Price of Freedom Denied, written by actual researchers in the field. They say no. Islamic societies cause more persecution. No. They cause more discrimination than Christian Western societies. No, actually, I have they put actual research, they run an actual sociological model behind it. So actually, no. I can just cite them and say, no, that your theologian is wrong, the sociologists are correct.
Look, Islam historically gave freedom of religion.
What? Wait a minute. Hold on. I'm going to scoot down here for a minute.
Why were the Jews flourishing? Why were the Jews flourishing in Spain and persecuting the rest of Christian Europe?
I'm a Christian. No, okay, if I live under Sharia law, could I proselytize Muslims?
I mean, you can try, but it doesn't mean you're going to go anywhere with it.
I can proselytize Muslims under Sharia law. Yeah, I can go out and say, yes, please convert to Christianity.
Right. So we can add to this real quick. So when it comes to rulings and how they apply throughout history, we would obviously have to use like a bigger sample size. In terms of, when you look at, for example, how Umar ibn Khattab teaches the Jews.
Just answer the question, can I proselytize?
Real quick.
Biblically speaking, you can't.
Exactly, you cannot. So no, I do not have freedom of religion.
Speaking.
You don't have freedom of religion under Islam.
Exactly.
According to Deuteronomy 13, you can't.
Yeah.
We're
you
talking
would
about
have your
Islam.
whole city committed genocide.
Answer the question. Under
Sharia,
Sharia,
your city.
Under Sharia,
can I proselytize?
Under Christianity, you can't.
Okay,
under both.
There we go.
Under both.
So under Sharia, no, we do not have freedom of religion, as I just said. I cannot proselytize. Do you disagree with that?
Why were the Jews?
Do you disagree with that?
Look, why were the Jews in Spain for 800 years during Muslim rule? And why, when the Muslims were kicked out, why did the Jews go to Muslim areas? Why did they go to Morocco? Why did they go to Iran? in Turkey, and the rest of North Africa? Why did they go?
Because they got kicked out. That doesn't change the
Why
point.
did they get kicked out? They got kicked out. They got why did they kicked out? They got kicked out. They were previously tolerated and flourished in Muslim Spain.
No,
Yes.
that's a miss. That's a miss.
That's not a miss.
So
That's
Maimonides
not
traveled
a
with
miss. That's
them
not a
into
miss.
You've been
That's not a
talking.
miss. That's
You've been
not. I haven't been
talking.
talking at all.
You've been talking.
By the way,
Maimonides said no. The Ishmaelites have been the worst people to us, and they forced them to convert under the Almohad Empire. So no,
You're talking
there
about
was-
Ottoman
hold
Empire.
on.
I'm not talking about Ottoman Empire. It was just
You were just talking about
the same guy in
Spain.
Muslim
Spain is not part of the Ottoman Empire.
Wow.
Spain was not part of the Ottoman Empire.
No, I said Almohad.
Are you saying it right?
Almohad. You don't know who the Almohads are?
Muwahhidun?
The Almohad. My goodness.
It's not my fault. You're saying words wrong.
Do you know who the Almoravids are? So in Spain, so let's do some history here because I don't think you know it. Okay, so
ahead.
the Almoravids come in after the collapse of the caliphate in there under the House of Cordoba. They take over.
You're talking about Wahidun.
In Spain, in Al-Andalus, okay? Then after that comes in the Almohads, and they rule in Spain. Maimonides is living under them. Maimonides said the Ishmaelites have been...
Oh no, I think Batman would beat John Wick and Agent 47. I think Batman would do it, right? Because the thing is that Batman is not, I mean, like, you gotta think, Batman isn't stupid, right? The difference is, are you talking about Batman or are you talking about Bruce Wayne, right? If you're talking about Batman, he has a gadget to handle people. He is already top, he has top martial arts, right? Now, add on, he has gadgets. He can tie you up. He can do all the shit to you. So he's already top tier human, right? So he's pretty much equal to any of those other people. Add on, his gadget helps him, fight superhumans, right? His gadgets help him fight superhumans. So already, that's the thing. Like his suit literally stops bullets.
The worst to us of all people. They oppressed, they forced convert, they had all sorts of sex slavery going on. It was awful. So this idea that you don't even know the history.
Well, Bruce Wayne, I don't know if I would say Bruce Wayne can take out John Wick. Now, I don't know. Because you got to think about this. Bruce Wayne, no weapons, right? Bruce Wayne he's not carrying around a utility belt. John Wick, he will take out a gun. See, this is the difference, right? John Wick, he will kill you. Bruce Wayne doesn't. See, that's the thing where the equalizer is the bat suit, right? The equalizer is the bat suit. I think it's wrong, right? The equalizer is the bat suit. John Wick, he fights to kill, right? Bruce Wayne does not fight to kill. And if he doesn't fight to kill, it is harder to incapacitate people, right? So I don't think that's right.
You don't even know who the Almohads are.
Yeah,
So how do you know this was such a good time?
I'll give you one even earlier, okay, during the time period of Umar radiallahu anh. So the second.
Yeah, but like seriously, I mean, Ultimate Ninjas, it's just martial arts, right? Bruce Wayne, yes, he's a good martial artist, but he doesn't fight to kill, right? He fight to incapacitate. And I think it would be hard to incapacitate John Wick, right? You're not looking to kill. John Wick is looking to kill you.
Caliph of Muhammad, peace be upon him.
It is so much harder to fight someone to not kill them, right? It's much harder to fight someone and not kill them, right? So that there is a very distinct difference.
Here, this is Moshe Gil's book. Okay, so he's a Jew. He says similarly, his contemporary Salmon ben Yerubim, in his Arabic commentary, he wrote, "As we know, the temple remained in the hands of the Romans for more than 500 years, and they did not succeed in entering Jerusalem." Speaking about the Jews. And anyone who did this was recognized as a Jew, was put to death. But when the Romans left it by the mercy of the God of Israel and the kingdom of Ishmael was victorious, Israel was permitted to come and to live. So this is under the Islamic rule of Omar radiallahu anh. He's the one who allows for them. I could quote you another reference where he talks about how he's the one who invited 70 families from the Jews to come back into Jerusalem.
Save them from who?
To save them from the Christians.
The Catholic Christians?
The Catholic Christians.
Oh, the Roman
All right,
Christians?
so
Okay.
let's now address it. Now, so where are the Jews now living today?
Yeah, many different
Yeah,
places of the world.
the numbers have depleted throughout the Middle East because of horrible oppression that is
Are you
happening.
going to address the point of Omar
I'm
Khattab allowing them?
going to address it.
Why did you? Okay, you use one example to just. It's like so. One example equals all of them now. It's like I just find I find that ideology kind of idiotic. So you use one example to, I don't know, represent all Muslims. It's like that's really ridiculous.
Yeah,
So why do you allow them to live?
Man, my
Go ahead.
goodness, man.
Okay,
Go ahead.
It's four people versus one. They won't even let me talk. It's insane.
Yeah, we keep talking about the topic that we're bringing up.
We're talking
though.
about what is better. And as both of these religions have developed societies, clearly the Christian West has allowed a lot more religious freedom, as the sociological research shows. Again, the book, The Price of Freedom Denied, shows that in the Middle East, Jews, Christian, heterodox groups, like the Alawites, for example, or the Baha'i, they are being oppressed on high levels versus what's happening in the West. So yeah, as these religions develop societies, Christianity has led to far less oppression than what we see in Islam. This is backed by research, therefore Christianity is better for society. By the way, Jonathan Fox found similar results.
Okay, so historically speaking, right, because that's what we were talking about
Right.
earlier, but now you're bringing back Western Christianity, which
Historically speaking, I just find it really ridiculous. Right? Okay, you have one nation that was very open to Jews. Okay, great. You could, I mean, like, I believe the slave, what is it? The Barabbas slave trade. It's not very, that's Muslim, right? Wasn't very, loving and opening to people, right? They enslaved a lot of people. I think the Muslim slave trade was the most heinous out of all. So, come on.
I don't even agree there is such a thing. It's going to be, if there is, it's going to be in like places like Brazil or South America or anything. Not here in the US though. So when it comes to Christianity historically, are you trying to make the claim that there was not, persecution of individuals who
No.
tried to proselyte? Really?
I'm not saying there was no persecution on either side.
Okay. I thought you were saying,
There was.
okay. So
It's
there
about
was.
which is
So
better.
wait.
It's about which is better.
Hold on. So Christianity does allow for that, correct?
No.
No? Deuteronomy 13 doesn't allow for that?
No,
It
that's
doesn't
not.
tell you to stone
Are you
people who
kidding
call
me?
you to another God that's
Is
not the God of
Deuteronomy
Israel?
the new covenant?
Is that the same
Is
God?
Deuteronomy
Is it
the new
same
In the
covenant?
new
God?
covenant, you have to
What
follow
is
it.
the new covenant?
Is it the same God?
Yeah, it's the
It
same
is the
God.
same God, and he prescribed that in the past, correct?
So okay,
it was
now,
something
here,
more?
am I going to be able to respond here?
Wait, did he
Am I
prescribe
going
or
to
not?
respond?
You can respond. He's
all right,
asking-
I
he's
just
asking
want
a
you to engage in
now
it.
now we need to talk about this because you're bringing this up. So
Sure.
Deuteronomy is didactic and exhortational in the laws it's laying down. This is according to mainstream scholarship today. It's not laying down minimal sentences. It's expressing the moral importance. You can read, for example, Dilbert Hillers. You can read John Walton on this. You can read, for example,
What's the
Kenneth
evidence? Is it
My
the Bible?
goodness, man. My goodness. You can read Kenneth Bergman.
Right.
So that's the thing. This is irrelevant because the marching orders for Christianity are not Deuteronomy, which again is didactic. It's pointing forward to something greater and more important. The marching orders of the new covenant. So no, that is not a law prescribed to Christians. It has nothing to do with the topic. And now you're basically saying, yeah, we think that happens in Islam, this killing of apostates. Yeah, that's bad for society. Guess what? Christianity doesn't allow it. You just gave me another reason why Christianity is better.
Good. So why does Thomas Aquinas, who's a Christian, obviously I believe he's a Catholic, right? He's a saint. He quotes the book of Hebrews, which presumably I think you take the position it was written by Paul.
You know what? I find it ridiculous that, yes, they're using the past, which no one just, I mean, like, I would say this as someone who's like on the outside looking in, right? Yes, Christianity historically is ugly, right? They have an ugly history, 100%. They have an ugly history. Christianity has an ugly history. I don't disagree. I don't say that, it's great that America is predominantly Christian. It's a predominantly Christian nation because of the past. No, right? If the past was still today, right? The ideology of past Christian nation was today. I'll say it's no, don't live here, right? But it's not, right? It's the evolution, right? It's the evolution of, I guess, the results thanks to Christianity, right? It's what Christianity helped shape said nations, right? We look at, the past is a great indicator, right? It's great to learn, right? It's great to learn the past. The issue is that what's the results, right? I've always said this to everything, like particularly, let's say, slavery and the Black community. Stop being shackled to your past, because what does it mean today? Okay, so let's say hypothetically, the Christian past is very oppressive, very discriminatory, it's very ugly. I don't disagree. What is its effects today? Because you can see that the opposite in Christian nations, it is the most diverse, the most free, the most open, right? It's just how it is.
But maybe not. Okay. So in Hebrews 10, it says, where is it? Sorry. Second. So Paul quotes an Old Testament law that doesn't necessitate that he upholds it or believes it. Okay, in Hebrews 10, he's talking essentially about the heretics and how they should be alive, but he says...
So what's the verse? I want to pull the verse up.
I believe it's Hebrews 10, verse 28 and 29.
Hebrews 10, 28 and 29.
Yeah,
Okay.
so he's quoting the Old Testament and saying, or rather he's vaguely quoting it and saying that a heretic or somebody who's going against God, that person should be unalived, but their judgment is going to come from God. Now, wait, hold on. Thomas Aquinas, a Catholic theologian, a saint of the church, right? What does he say? In Summa Theologica, he says, St. Thomas Aquinas, on whether heretics ought to be tolerated. This is question 11, article 3. It says, with regard to heretics, 2 points must be observed, one on their own side, the other on the side of the church. On their own side, there is the sin, whereby they deserve not only to be separated from the church by excommunication, but also to be severed from the world by death. For it is a much graver matter to corrupt the faith, which quickens the soul, than to forge money, which supports temporal life. Wherefore, if forgers of money and other evildoers are forthwith condemned, but to the death by the secular authority, etc., etc.
So can we read the verse now?
Yeah, go
Okay,
ahead.
so
I already
anyone
told
who
you
has
the
set aside the
verses.
law of Moses dies without mercy on the evidence of 2 or 3 witnesses. How much worse punishment do you think will be deserved by the one who has trampled underfoot the Son of God and has profaned the blood of the covenant by which he was sanctified and has outraged the spirit of grace? So this is not prescribed. This is talking about basically what does someone deserve?
Did I not say that? I literally said that.
There we go.
But
Now,
then
is
I told
Thomas
you
Aquinas the
quotes it. Sir, I said Aquinas quotes it. Okay, we're talking about Christianity historically. Okay,
Right.
and historically, Christians used to allow for the unallowed.
No, they're not talking about Christianity historically. They're talking about the results, right? Christianity produces better results. Christianity produces better results. One of the most free nation in the world, Sweden, right? One of the most free, right? One of the like when you say like the most happiest, most equal nation, Sweden is one of the top, nation that's brought up. It is a Christian nation, right? It's not the official, but it's predominantly Christian, right? Christian nations have produced the best, right? Christian nations have produced the best nations in the world. This is the problem where he's not really like, this is the problem when you can't be critical even of your own religion, right? I would say that yes, Christianity has an ugly past. Most nations have an ugly past. Muslims have an ugly past. They also have an ugly present, right? But most religion have an ugly past. No one should argue against that. No one should argue how Christianity has an ugly past. What we're talking about is that what is the results of Christianity, right? What is the results?
Unalivement of heretics. They used to allow for the unalivement of Jews, as I already gave you the references for. You're not engaging with that.
So do
You're
they now?
literally just saying, sir.
Wait,
it depends
go
on
ahead.
where
So
you're talking about.
I want to comment on that. So
I
what you're
gotta
taking...
respond to what you had said. I'd like to respond to what you
I'll
said.
allow this and you can jump in, right? So what we're doing is that we're looking at a period sample size, right? For example, looking at like 1998 to like 2010, right? And we're taking that sample size and we're saying, hey, based upon that, Christianity yields the better results, but why can't we extend the sample size back? Why can't we do that?
Great,
So real quick,
absolutely.
real
I
quick.
want to do that. Yeah,
If we do take that back, would you agree that we can find historical instances where the Jews are oppressed by the Christians?
Yes, I never denied that.
Beautiful.
This is how you
That's
answer
what
questions.
engages
You
it.
see what
That's
I'm
the
doing? I say yes, and then I
I'll
expound.
ask
You should try that sometime.
Thank you. Right. So if we do take the sample size back, we see that Christianity has also contributed
Yes.
injustice.
Yeah.
Christianity has
What is the topic?
injustice.
Brian, could you please remind remind us of the topic.
Right, no,
again.
I would
like Brian to remind us of the topic.
No, I understand that.
Brian,
I just want to know why is the sample size? Why is the sample size from modern day, right? Specifically, looking at a recent period.
Brian, what's the topic?
So can I address that or
Let him
not?
finish it, please.
Yeah. So we're saying that if we take back the sample size, would we see better results from Islam or Christianity? Right.
Brian, what's the sample? What's the topic?
Is Christianity better for society than Islam?
Thank you.
And
There
how
we
are we
go.
going to observe that? Wait, how are we going to observe that IP? Can we observe it
based on what you
historically?
said?
Can we talk
The
about
historical development of what is producing better societies. Right now, the West has clearly produced better societies.
Wait, the West is only
My
Christianity?
goodness,
Just
man.
right now in this particular area only.
The West is predominantly Christianity. It's like
Right.
So
Crazy.
what is Christianity produce? Less child marriage, less oppression. Okay, that is not even up for debate. That has actually been demonstrated by models by Jonathan Fox, Grimm and Finke in their book, The Price of Freedom Denied. It has also produced less cousin marriage, which is also bad for humanity. So yes, and it's also produced better rights where we're not killing people for abandoning their religion because that's what Islam teaches. So all these things, yes, Islam is producing far worse societies. This is enough for debate. We can just look at all the facts and the numbers don't lie.
Yeah. So we want to take this a bit forward, right? Because we're all
Christianity is 55% to 65%, right, of the West. Religiously unaffiliated, I guess is atheist, right? Atheist, agnostic, 25 to 35%. Islam is 2% to 6%, right? And other faiths is about 3 to 5%. Majority Christianity. Shut the fuck up, right? I'm sorry. This is why it's unproductive sometimes when you do these types of debates, right? When you do these types of debates because they want. Sometimes they think they're arguing on facts, right? But when you both can't agree to something, it's hard to really, agree to anything.
also want to be able to critique your conception of what a good society is. Now, when it comes to Christianity or Western Christianity, you would admit that, for example, things like alcohol consumption is allowed. Now, when it comes to alcohol consumption, we see that, for example, 66% of domestic abuse cases are heavily impacted and influenced by alcohol consumption. So the question is very simple. If we have a society A, where there is no alcohol consumption, right, and it's completely forbidden, not allowed, and we have society B where it is allowed, which one would yield a better result insofar as domestic abuse, so on and so forth?
So you're saying, let me see if I can simplify. You're saying if a society is producing less domestic abuse, it's better.
Of course.
Okay, beautiful. There's a great study.
I just point out alcohol consumption. Though.
Okay, there's a great study called Intimate Partner Violence in Muslim Communities, showing that yes, there is more intimate partner violence in Muslim communities. So even with alcohol, you guys are still having more abuse of women, psychological, physical, sexual, emotional abuse in your societies. Right. So even on that point, this works against you.
So again, the example, the question that I asked was specific regarding which society would be better, one that doesn't have alcohol consumption and one that does.
Depends on how much abuse it causes.
Okay, beautiful.
It's about the effects.
So, no, if one causes high domestic abuse due to the alcohol, it would be worse, right?
Wait, so if it causes more.
Right.
Okay, yeah, it doesn't.
No, again, to be very clear, what I'm saying is if we have a society where there is alcohol consumption that would lead to domestic abuse, and we have a society that doesn't have alcohol consumption that doesn't lead to domestic abuse, which one would be better?
The one that has less abuse.
Thank you so much.
Okay, which is the West.
So again, Islam as a religion doesn't allow alcohol consumption, which doesn't contribute to the mass domestic abuse that is due to alcoholism that is found within the West.
It's causing more abuse regardless. This is what the research shows.
A society without alcohol.
No. I let you talk for a little while.
See, it's like he wants to make it stick. Oh, it has to be alcohol, right? Only abuse caused by alcohol, right? That's it. We're only talking about that one. That's it. But when there's more abuse in your nation, regardless, who cares if it's caused by alcohol or not?
Your whole thing was like, we're going to go on, the society that's better is the one that is causing less abuse. The research shows, multiple reviews have found, that it is actually Muslim communities producing more abuse of their women.
What's the sample size?
What's the sample size? It's been done in I can pull it up right here if you want. I can pull it up.
Because go ahead, put it up. Yeah.
So I told you the name of the paper, Intimate Partner Violence in Muslim communities.
What's the time and the location as well?
So they looked at multiple countries. So that's important. So they were not just looking at one; they looked at several over several years, for example.
Right.
So this was several studies here. So hold on, let me pull this up here. The first one is intimate partner violence in Muslim communities. Okay, the study. There's like multiple studies authors. So like Bonita Sharma, for example. Kenneth Flaglin. The second paper.
Do you know the size of the first one?
Second paper is Muslim women experience of domestic violence and abuse, a meta-ethnography of global evidence. And they specifically cite religious motivations coming from Islam.
What is the religious? Go ahead, prove it.
What are we talking about? You
So
read it?
when they cite religious motivations, what is the religious motivation they're quoting?
Oh, okay, yeah, sure, here. So, cultural beliefs often influence Islamic values within a society.
Cultural?
What?
Okay. I've always said religious.
Let me read. Let me read from the paper. Okay, I'm reading from the Muslim women experience of domestic violence and abuse, a meta-ethnography. Okay, cultural belief often influence Islamic values within a society. These religious values and beliefs were subject to the interpretation and guidance of religious leaders. Sharia law plays a role in shaping the behavior of many individuals within a community.
Can you give the evidence with Sharia
My
law?
goodness, he asked me to read a quote. He doesn't read the quote.
I'm asking something very specific here. What is
Sharia law
what is the
dictated.
evidence?
Sharia law dictated that women must be obedient to their husbands. Men felt empowered to punish their wives if they perceived them as disobedient. Then it goes on to say, it is evident that religious beliefs were a strong influence on women's acceptance of DVA and reluctant to leave and seek help.
Beautiful. So again, regarding this specific topic, now let's quote the Sharia. The Messenger himself in authentic hadith says those.
Wait, do you acknowledge this shows this?
Yeah, I'm responding to it.
So you acknowledge this shows there's more violence?
I know that's
in Muslim
what
communities.
she says. I'm responding to the
That's not what he
paper.
even said. He said that the effect of them not wanting to leave is due to
It's evident that religious was a strong influence on women's acceptance of DVA.
Right,
So
but it's not them actually committing the act. It's just the women.
Exactly.
wanting to
The
leave.
prior quote shows that
But
yes,
them
they
actually
are.
committing the act was due to culture.
Do I need to read the other one
Yeah,
too?
it
Because
says,
it
it
was
says
culture.
culture in the
So-
first sentence.
Yeah, so I don't know what you're doing. You're just
And-
misquoting
and
these.
even-
No, it shows that there's more violence in there, and the women are also
Can
accepting.
you just read the first sentence again?
Yeah, because of culture.
Yeah, culture beliefs often influence Islamic values.
Exactly. So,
Wow,
okay,
man.
so this goes back.
I'm not saying it's just
hold on,
Islamic.
hold on.
That's a part of it. But they do say religious as well.
Okay, so
it's
if it's
gotta
not
be
a
the culture.
sufficient cause, then you can't attribute the actual cause to Islam.
I mean, seriously. I mean, I find it ridiculous, right? You can't contribute to Islam, but when globally averaged, Muslim majority nations record a higher statistical prevalence of DV than Christian majority nations, right? It's just, yes, it happens in both. No one's saying it doesn't, but by data, right? Thanks to the World Health Organization, right? That's who the stats are from. The World Health Organization. There's more DV in Muslim nations.
Islam.
Yes, I
It has
can.
to- No, you can't. It's not
Yes.
a sufficient cause.
Yeah,
Okay,
because you
so
don't understand how
doesn't happen
sociology
in-
works.
So this is
Hold on, you don't understand how
wait.
sociology works.
Hold on.
Multiple
You don't
factors.
understand
There's
how
cultural,
method of differences
religious.
works.
There's poverty as well. But
Right.
Islam is also one of the factors
Right,
according to the
okay,
study.
but it is not a sufficient cause. That's the point. If it was a sufficient cause, then Islam would be the only and key
What?
factor of it.
No, that's never
what a
hap-
sufficient cause is.
No, that
Okay,
does
so
not
is
make sense at
Islam-
all.
So is Islam the sufficient cause?
Islam is a factor that leads to more
I didn't
violence.
ask that. I asked you, is it a sufficient cause?
That is irrelevant to the study.
No, it is
No,
literally
it's not.
not. I'm asking you, is it a sufficient cause to
My
say that
goodness.
Islam allows for domestic
Islam
abuse
is a
to
motivating
any
factor
society?
that leads to more violence according to these studies.
It doesn't want to
Can you
engage.
answer a question?
You don't want to engage.
The
Right,
question
thank
is,
you.
what is the question? It's not following what I'm actually saying.
I know.
You're
Is
asking something
Islam-
irrelevant to my
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, let's just
Because I
let's-
asked it before. You didn't address it before either.
Ask the
Okay.
question, and then we'll get a clear answer.
Is Islam a sufficient cause as it pertains to this type of violence towards women?
Okay, what do you mean by sufficient cause?
Sufficient cause meaning that it's the only thing which is necessary such that
No.
we would observe it to occur in every single Islamic society.
That is
it the
irrelevant.
case?
No, that's
I didn't
irrelevant to my
ask you if
point.
it's
He said
irrelevant.
no.
I asked
He
you
said
if-
no.
Oh,
I said no.
Okay, good.
See, I answered your
Okay,
question.
good.
See,
So
that
you
works?
finally answered the question.
No, it is irrelevant.
Good.
Okay.
So, no, it's not no, it's irrelevant. Is it a yes or no? Okay.
It is not because you don't understand how
I didn't
sociology
ask him
works.
if it's irrelevant.
Let me
I asked
explain how
him,
sociology
is it the
works.
case that it is or isn't?
Let me
Now
explain
you
how
can see he's
sociology
not
works.
answering the question.
Let me explain how
Follow
sociology
God logic
works.
right now. She wants a yes or no.
Okay, let me explain how sociology works.
I don't need an explanation.
want to go on to yes or no.
Yeah, we're gonna call it.
You can't do that, right? You can't do a yes or no answers because topics are more complicated.
God logic, like yes or no.
It's not a yes or no question, right? It's not a yes or no question.
Okay.
I've minored in criminology. I've minored in
So that
sociology. I want you to engage.
you minored in sociology.
Yes.
So that you understand that when a study is performed, they have to look at multiple factors.
Exactly.
Great.
So what I'm asking you, and you don't want to engage with, is I'm asking you, is Islam sufficient on its own to produce these results, yes or no?
Never in sociology will that be the answer.
Oh my God. Okay,
Never.
so is
I
it the
said
case,
no.
yes or no?
Perfect.
I said no.
She
Because
said
that's
no.
not how sociology
Okay,
works.
Good.
You understand? You
So
said
I'm
you
not
minored.
asking
You
you
should know
only-
how
Organic, what is up?
this works. Let's go back to his point. He said the society that produces more abuse is going to have worse. Is going to be worse. I bring in studies like intimate partner violence in Muslim communities. To quote, in general, these studies found high prevalent levels of IPV among Muslims living in the U.S. and globally. Consistent with IPV research in general, verbal and psychological abuse was found most prevalent, followed by physical, sexual, and fatal. Individual, family, and interlocking social problems, traditional beliefs, and spirituality, immigration-related stressors were associated. There. See, I didn't say it's the only thing.
Good.
Okay. With
So
IPV
it's not
studies,
engaging with my answer to my question.
goodness, studies on beliefs of IPV found that they tended to be higher leniency and justification of abuse in Muslim cultures than is the Western norm. So
Good.
by
Doesn't
that
address my
logic,
question.
hold up, back to that logic. By that logic, you guys have accidentally conceded Muslim societies are worse because there's more abuse according to the data.
doesn't address my question. Okay.
Because
my
I'm
question,
deciding your
because we're
question's on the
talking about
topic.
Islam. Okay, we're talking about Islam as it pertains for societies. Okay, if there are Islamic societies such that this does not occur, then you cannot say that Islam is going to be the sufficient cause in regards to this occurring in a society.
So
that's the whole point.
You have raised the bar to extreme levels where now we can't say anything. Once again, like the last
Don't blame me,
conversation,
blame
you
me.
went nuclear. You basically just said we can't use anything
That's a straw
because
man.
we need a.
That's not
That's a
true.
straw man.
That's not true because, for
Is there
example,
more abuse in Muslim
I'll tell you why that's not the case.
Yeah,
I'll tell you why that's not the
Is
case.
there more abuse in Muslim
I'm going to
communities?
tell you why that's not the
We'll get
case.
to the point,
I'm going to tell you why that's not the case. Because there are certain aspects of any religious text or any text that we interpret in general, okay, there are certain aspects such that we can determine that because the vast majority of the people all adhere to it or all accept it within regards to that particular doctrine that we're talking about or anything of the sort, that this is a sufficient cause for it. For example, affirming Tawheed. That is something every Muslim will affirm, okay? Ergo, we could say it's Quran or Islam in general is a sufficient cause in regards to affirming Tawheed as it pertains to Muslims. But you cannot come to that same conclusion as it pertains to specific laws and rulings because there are different people who have interpreted it in different ways over time such that they allow culture, society, etc. to influence and impact their decision on their interpretation.
So according to you, we can't know anyway. We can't know anything here. We can't know
I
anything.
literally just
Duh,
you're
your
opposite.
response.
I
Let's
told
move
you
forward.
the
Let's move
opposite.
forward. Let's move
Every
forward on
time I let them
Alright,
talk,
yeah.
notice what's happening. I let them talk. Then I try to talk. They jump in and start interrupting me because they can't handle the data here.
You said you can't do anything. That's what you said.
There they go again.
That's
There they
what
go
you
again.
said. Yeah.
Okay.
You said it
I'm
like
going
you're
back to what you said. You said societies that produce more abuse are going to be worse. We can see the data. Even with alcohol consumption, Muslim societies are producing more abuse. It's in the studies I'm citing. Therefore, Muslim societies produced by Islam are worse than what Christian societies have produced. That's it. That's the debate right there. Thank you for coming.
Let's move to the next point.
Yeah,
Okay.
Right.
Consanguineous marriage is cousin marriage.
so
Do
again,
you agree cousin marriage is okay?
Yeah, again, so when it comes to exactly what you mean by cousin marriage, going to be very nuanced. So, for example, in societies where there is a repeated cousin marriage that is explicitly condemned and something that is frowned upon within Islam, Umar ibn Khattab talks about this, and Imam Shafi'i talks about this as well, that if it is going to be repeated, where it is going to cause harm to the child, then it's going to be something that's shouldn't be done. That's what Islam teaches.
Now I would say right, the first two topics, they were wrong, right? How dare you not condemn child marriages of any kind, right? I'm sorry. No adult should be marrying anyone under 18. I don't care. I mean, I don't care if it was the past. I don't care if it's today. You shouldn't be marrying someone under the age of 18. As an adult, you shouldn't. So they were wrong for defending that and not condemning it. 2, 100% Christian nations have produced better results than Muslim nations, right? Christian nations have produced better nations than Muslim nations. It is a fact, right? It is a fact, okay? So 2 out of 2, right? I mean, 2-0.
Right? So Islam, where it is implemented, then it's going to cause people followers of that text that there's not going to be. You have to prove that.
So, do you agree there is far more cousin marriage in the Islamic world than in the Western
I don't
world?
believe that Islam is the cause.
But is there more?
You'd have to read the data, but.
So there's a lot more cousin marriage. In, for example, Pakistan, the rate is like 65%.
Beautiful.
Okay, so there's a lot more cousin marriage. Where are they getting that from?
Not Islam. Can you prove it's
Yeah,
Islam?
exactly.
Yes,
Because
yes,
this
yes,
literally
I
will
can.
go
Yes.
back to every single one of the points that you bring up in regards to this. Mill's method of difference is going to literally be a thorn for you right now. You don't want to address the fact that it can't be a sufficient cause. If it's the case, it's not occurring in every single Islamic society.
That doesn't
that's
follow
the
at all.
crux of the matter.
No. Let me address that. That doesn't follow at all.
Okay,
because
yeah.
there are several factors involved. So for example, in some societies, for example, there's Christianity is everywhere. Okay, but we can say like, for example, if we go to New Orleans, there's going to be a lot more crime than like Vermont. Okay. Why? Because we know in sociology there are numerous factors. There's a lot more poverty in southern Louisiana. So that's going to be another motivating factor. So that's what happens often in these societies. They factor out those kind of things. But the studies I'm citing have done multivariable analyses. They have factored out things like poverty, like education levels. They still find intimate partner violence, higher levels of child marriage, okay, more oppression and persecution.
So I want to focus on cousin marriage specifically.
Yeah,
I don't
cousin
wanna
marriage.
go from that.
Okay,
Sorry.
now I want to get back to that point. Okay,
Wait,
so
can you let me
is
get a
not Muhammad the pattern of conduct for Muslims?
Again, go ahead.
Yeah, I just really quick, and then he could address you on that point. So what I wanted to ask you, or rather say, is when it comes to a motivation, finding a motivation for a particular thing, what he already explained to you is that within our Islamic doctrine, within our Islamic teachings, early on, what we find, both the Caliph as well as people who are contemporary to the
Then why do you condemn it? Why don't you condemn it? All right? This is the thing where I find this kind of really ridiculous, right? They're saying that, Islam doesn't promote this. Islam doesn't promote it. Okay. Does Islam condemn it? Do you condemn the people that do it? Say it right now. Say it right now. Say that, you condemn the Muslims that marry children. Say it right now. I condemn all Muslims that marry children. I condemn Muslims that marry their cousins. Condemn it. Do it. I think you won't.
The caliph afterwards, they say that this is something which should not be encouraged. Okay, not only should it not be encouraged, but what we find is that they say that it is better for you to go and do something else, so that, and he states the specific reason as to why. He says so that.
Why do they say that?
I'll tell you. He says specifically, Imam Shafi'i says specifically, so that your children do not end up as fools. He literally says it verbatim. Good. So there is motivation. Now this is a question I want to ask you.
But he's pulling that nature, right? Nature, yeah.
I'm not done. Okay. So when it comes to this particular point, opposite is also allowed to occur.
Are you asking, does the Islamic text allow cousin marriage?
Does it allow for it insofar as not encouraging the closeness of it? Okay, because saying the word cousin is going to be very vague.
First cousins.
The issue. Okay, yeah, sure. First cousin is allowed. But the reason as to why it's not good is because over time, if you continue this particular type of behavior, that's what leads to these types of issues, which is exactly what Imam Shafi'i and Umar radiallahu anhu both state.
Where do they get that
from? So I'm asking you, okay.
For nature. They're not, Islam is allowing cousin marriage because, again, you want to let me show. Okay, I'll let you talk for a while. Let me now address this. Okay, exactly. They were able to go and go, hey, all these generations of cousin marriages leading to lower IQ and all these birth effects, we shouldn't do this. But they're not getting that from Islam. They're getting that from their understanding of how the natural world works. Meanwhile, in Islam, Muhammad married his first cousin. He married his daughters, the first cousins. So according to Islamic teaching, that's why it keeps happening throughout the Islamic world. This is why you have rampant cousin marriage in the Islamic world. Meanwhile, in the West, we have gotten rid of that.
Good. Notice what the issue is. It's not specifically marrying first cousins. The issue that they highlight is that over time, if it's done repeatedly, that's where the issue occurs, correct?
Where does Islam say that just don't do it repeatedly?
They're literally the sources that we use. So if we're going to go based off of an Islamic standard, then according to the Quran, you follow these contemporaries of Muhammad, peace be upon him, such as
they're not getting that from Muhammad or the Quran.
Hold on. The Quran tells you to follow in their example. If we're going to follow in their example and follow in what they say, such that it's not something that contradicts Islam, there's no issue with accepting what they say. So, ergo, they do have basis for making these statements, or having an expertise in that specific marriage and how this occurs in society and so on and so forth. They're reading multiple different times between. This is something that should be avoided. You are to listen to them according to the Quran, and there's no issue with that.
All right, now. I just want to notice what happened. I let her respond. She went on for a good minute there. I wonder if I'm going to get to do that. Let's see if I can get this.
Go ahead. Go and ask questions.
Okay, so once again, now we got to go back to the broader picture. What is actually happening? Islamic societies are producing societies that have rampant cousin marriage, and they're having lower IQs, more birth defects. This is also contributing to less economic progress, okay? Because Western societies have actually gotten rid of it. They've gotten rid of it. It's all done away with. Very low, less than like 1% in the West, for example, okay? That just means we're producing better societies. Now, if you want to say, well, that Islam is not the motivating factor, I'm using your standard now. You're going to scientific aspects, people studying nature. So by your own admission, the standard you set up earlier, they're not getting that. They're not getting the idea that cousin marriage is bad from Islam. If we go to what Islam just says, guess what's happening? Cousin marriage is allowed and it's growing. Then we just need to look at societies at large. What's happening? The West is producing far better societies because we have higher IQs, because we have less cousin marriage. That is a contributing factor, okay? And then, I'm almost done. Meanwhile, Islamic societies are producing worse societies, more child marriage, more abuse, and now we know more cousin marriage, which lowers the collective IQ. This is bad.
Right. So to come to the conclusion that you're saying is that if you look at society X, society Y, for example, we see that X society has something bad compared to this society, but there is a few things that you're not factoring in, right? So for some odd reason, when I said let's take the sample size and spread it even larger, for someone we had an issue with that.
You're not using the correct sample size, right? Like sample size is that same year, larger group. You're using history, right? History can represent a magnitude, a variation of sample size, right? But variation is like time, types of people, types of ideology. It's really weird, right? So that's why it's very stupid how you're using the sample size.
I don't believe that taking the sample size bigger, where you can look at more historical context, undermines the prompt in every shape or form. Because you're still looking at society, you're still looking at the effect. And just because we see, for example, Western countries that are part of NATO, that have a better economic factors, and we have Muslim countries in the Middle East where they have worse economic factors, where they could be driving, where they are driving factors for these consequences that we see, right? You cannot pin this on Islam and say that this is because of Islam, right? So I would argue that if we take the sample back even further, we can argue for things like alcohol abuse, we can argue for things like unaliving of the Jews, 70,000 Jews being unalived by the Christians, right? And this is from Christian societies. If we take this back, and also one point I want to comment on is that if we appeal to natural law as Muslims, that renders me a moral relativist. It doesn't follow.
That was something different. Okay. That's not what I was talking about.
I want to comment on that because for some odd reason you have an issue with Muslims appealing to natural law when natural law is something that is taught within Islam. Why? Because in Sunni Islam, we believe that there is going to be things that are going to be inherently Islam doesn't لا ضرر ولا ضرار, no harm, no reciprocating harm, right? And the only thing you said, oh, well, people interpret it to be not allowed.
Okay.
So real quick, would you?
Okay, yeah, we're taking the whole of history here, okay?
Yeah.
So you just can't go to like, well, maybe like 300 years ago it was different. We have to take the whole of history
Thank
here.
you.
The whole of history shows Christian societies are far better. And one of the results is cousin marriage, consanguineous marriages. They're far more rampant in Islamic societies. So let me give you an analogy to help you with this. Okay, so take Ozempic. Ozempic was produced, they came up with it to help with type 2 diabetes. But then they discovered it also helps with weight loss. So it produced an unintended result. Now when we look at Christian societies, coming from Christianity, Islamic societies coming from Islam, one of the unintended results is cousin marriage. There's far less in the West, a ton more in the Islamic world. That just shows that Islam is... I almost was done. I'm almost done. So Islam is producing far worse societies.
They do have a worse thing with interrupting him, right? Again, you gotta think, it's 4 against 1. You interrupt them a lot.
Because you have rampant cousin marriage. Okay, you may not have intended that, you may not think that is, but this is still just a reality on the ground.
Beautiful. So again, you did concede that if we take the sample size, that would be different. But the studies that you cited don't account for history, IP. You would agree that the sample size that you quoted only
because they can't.
Right, exactly. So you would agree that it doesn't account for history, right?
They can't. It's impossible in sociology.
Beautiful, exactly. So when you say that, when you reference a model, for example, where it's like 1988 to like 2010, where you reference a country where it has like bad socioeconomic factors, it would then follow that we would expect there to be worse societies compared to the West. Obviously, right? But we can't take that and conclude that Islam is going to be worse for society. Why? Because Islam doesn't inherently teach those things are going to be abhorrent. It doesn't.
We're talking about what these religions have produced. If we look through the whole of history, what has come from Islam? What has come from Christianity? Which has more cousin marriage today? The Islamic society or Christian? Which one?
So if I was to take this, for example, to
which one?
Of course, Islam would be better.
Thank you. Okay, Islam has more cousin marriage.
No, Islam would be better.
His question was, which society produced more cousin marriage?
Right. So this is very like flimsy because I don't know if we're talking about first cousin or like repeated cousin marriage.
First cousin marriage.
So I don't believe that first cousin marriage was like not repeated is going to be immoral. I don't believe that. We don't.
I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying cousin marriage is necessarily immoral, but it is. For example, eating sugar is not immoral.
Right.
But if you eat a lot of sugar, you're going to affect your health.
So
okay. Likewise, we can set aside the moral issue on the table right now. We can set it aside.
Okay, beautiful.
Regardless, cousin marriage still makes worse societies. You just admitted there is more cousin marriage in Islamic society, and I'm even granting it's just a side effect. Doesn't matter. That shows Islam has produced worse societies. Case closed.
So if I was to take the sample back, when, let's say, for example, 70,000 Jews were unalived by the Christians, right? And wait, we live another time, me and you live another time, and we say, hey, look, we see more violence perpetrated by the Christians.
This is how they're doing it, right? This is how they argue their logic. I wish you would say that, yes, no one is arguing that the history is ugly. No one is arguing that. Christianity is not, I'm not saying that, I would have said this, right? I'm not saying Christianity is the most beautiful religion in the world, or it's like, it's perfect, right? There's no blemish, there's no flaws, there's no ugliness with Christianity. No, that's not what people are talking about. They're talking about the results, right? The results of said religions. In history, Canada is more nightmare. Really? Does Canada have an ugly history? I don't really know much about Canadian history, but interesting.
From the Roman Catholics against the Jews.
But I would say this, right? There is not a single nation on this earth, at least I don't know, right? I don't know a single nation on this earth that has a clean history. I believe every nation on this earth has an ugly history to it. Every nation. You can even go back to Native Americans. I'm sorry. Native Americans have killed each other. They have beheaded or done terrible atrocities to each other. It's just human beings. Human beings have the capability to be terrible.
At that time point, from that time, Islam we better society?
So again,
would it follow? No.
No. You
have to answer this question.
No. So, okay, restate the question because it's so irrelevant to what we're talking about. We're talking about cousin marriage. You're talking about violence.
Yeah, because we're talking about which is better, right?
Yeah, which has produced better societies.
If we're at a time when 70,000 Jews were unalived by...
We're not talking about what history is better, right? No one's talking about what history is better.
The Romans, by the Christians at that point, and we're having the same debate, and we saw that Christianity or Christian countries will produce more violence, which then agree that at that point, if we're having the same debate... So wait, one
Show
second.
it, show
At
it.
that point, let me finish. At that point, if we're having the same debate, you would agree that Christianity would have been producing more violence. It would be worse, right?
So in a possible world, not our world, where there's more violence.
Right.
Okay, so yeah, if it's producing more violence, it's bad. Guess what? Islam produces more violence.
So it's arbitrary. Thank you.
No, I didn't.
Historically
I said
speaking,
possible
Christianity
world.
was the worst
Hold on,
religion,
hold
and
on.
it got a
You
little bit
just
better
cooked
over
yourself.
time.
You don't realize
Beautiful.
it. You said in a possible world, if a society is producing more violence, that's bad. I got some bad news for you. There's been studies shown. For example, Davis Brown's book, War, Religion, in a Secular Age, shows that Christianity has a restrictive war ethic. It produces less interstate armed conflict. Meanwhile, Islam has a permissive war conflict. So not only do we have more child marriage, we have more abuse, we have more cousin marriage, as you admitted. Now we're going on to violence. Guess what? Islamic societies are producing more violence, as the research by Davis Brown, Jonathan Fox, Monica Duffy-Toff has shown. So guess what? In your possible world, when we apply it to this reality, it shows Islam is more violent. Thank you for that.
I expose it because now your criteria has become arbitrary.
No, it isn't.
It is.
No.
Because I just shown you that the studies that you're making are based upon factors that are to do with socio-economic factors in the Middle East.
No.
It doesn't account for all of
That's
history.
false.
And if we were to
That is
take,
false.
let me finish. If we take that back the sample size to a point where there was violence perpetrated against innocents, women, children, then you would concede in that possible world where it was a reality at some point.
Possible world.
That was
Not a reality.
That was a reality at some point. That
Not
Christianity
a-
would be.
When globally average, Muslim majority nations experience higher statistical prevalence of violent conflict and civil war than Christian majority nations. Right? But Christian majority nations experience higher average rates of interpersonal street crime, such as homicide. So, I mean, like, if he's talking about like interpersonal violence, okay, but there's more wars, more civil wars in Muslim nations.
Better.
No, was it?
Thank
no,
you.
was it? Here's the problem.
So
You don't
we
know
are-
how these
sorry.
studies work. Okay, they don't just go, a lot of violence happened over there, less violence happened over there, therefore better.
That's
so
straw man.
Davis
No.
Brown, for example, factors in those socioeconomic factors you were bringing up. So they're taking this kind of stuff in. They're factoring in things like poverty, like education levels, regional disputes, fighting over resources. And after they factor all those things in, they're still finding that Islam is producing more interstate armed conflict.
What was the evidence for that?
Davis Brown's book, War, Religion, in a Secular Age.
Right, so what was the evidence that the socioeconomic factors are going to be insignificant in relation to Islam?
The socioeconomic, because he factored them in. He's factoring
How about John Wick versus Punisher? I can't even say because they are. It's very similar, right? That's hard because Punisher is definitely he's willing to kill you. Punisher is willing to kill you. I think John Wick is better hand to hand. I think John Wick is better hand to hand combat than Punisher. But when you're shooting, you're shooting, right? So, but here's the thing, right? I think John Wick has better gung fu, right? If you don't know, Chinese martial arts movies, they have gung fu, right? Martial arts with guns, right? Martial art with guns. I've seen John Wick. He fights with guns, right? So, one, I think if John Wick can get into close quarters, he can beat Punisher, right? If he gets into close quarters, he can beat the Punisher. But a gun thing, if they're doing from range, it might be hard. I don't know how accurate the Punisher is with his marksmanship, but I mean I'm pretty sure he's pretty accurate.
Right,
like, so he's looking at-
how is it they factor them in
So
and
he's
conclude
looking
that
at
Islam
multiple.
is going to be a cause?
He's looking at multiple countries.
Right.
So he's looking at countries in North America, Middle East, Europe, Asia, Africa, all around. And then he says, well, okay, now we need to use the model to weigh in certain things. So we need to add a weight to poverty because for example, countries in Europe are going to be richer.
Right.
So we need to now know, could all the interstate armed conflict be coming from higher levels of poverty? Okay, no, we're still finding the variable there even when we factor in poverty. Could it be coming over education levels?
Okay.
No, we're still finding that.
So for
that's
example,
why sociologists run these
If you
models.
look at like a country like Indonesia, right, where it is a Muslim country, right, where we see that it has a good GDP, where it is performing relatively well, and it's a Muslim country, that would undermine the study done by these researchers in case.
No, it's like it's a balance of average, right? You have one good country, 5 bad countries. I'm sorry. The 5 will average out, right? They will cancel out the good country, right? It's like that's what it means, right? Seriously, it's like you think that just like they use with the I think the Spain or whatever, they said that one time in history, Muslims were so amazing, right? So it must cancel out everything else. Bitch, that's not how it works, right? You do one good. It doesn't mean you save one person and then you kill 100 others. it don't mean that you canceled out the death of 100 people, right? That's not how fucking averages work, right? That's not how, these studies work. You killing one person, right? Or you saving one person does not like cover up you killing 100 others. Absolute low IQ people.
To why? Why? Because we're looking at sample size. We're looking at whether or not poverty will essentially be a factor. So we have two countries. Both are Muslim, right? One has poverty. One doesn't have poverty, and we see these issues exceedingly happen in countries where there is poverty.
Yes, poverty is a factor that also contributes to interstate armed conflict, just like Islam does. Another factor. Yeah, so multiple factors. So if you're a country that is Islamic and poor, you have more violence. If you're a country like, for example, Dubai, UAE, excuse me, who has wealth but Islam, you're going to have less interstate armed conflict, less wars, less civil wars, that kind of stuff. Poverty is also a factor. I'm not denying there are not other factors, but Islam is still a factor.
That's the whole point, is that you can't just say that it's because of Islam. It is mainly these other factors that are coming into play.
He's not saying it's because of Islam, right? It's like this is the low IQ of these people. He's not saying, oh, it's because of Islam, that is why. No. He's saying it's a factor, right? He's saying, what do these Islam countries produce, right? It's not just because they're Islam, right? But because Islam is a factor, right? It is a contributing factor. What do they produce, right? It's like this is the problem right? You have a nation, right? A Muslim nation. It is very influenced by its religion. That is 100% fact. Muslim nations are influenced by their religion. That's 100% a fact. So it's not like, oh, a Muslim nation, Islam doesn't affect them at all, right? It's not like they care or listen. Because here's the thing. In a Christian nation, in America, Christianity is not a clear-cut contributing factor to the nation. It's not. Okay? It doesn't 100% control the government. It doesn't 100% control the people, right? It's not even, I don't even think it's 50%, right? I don't even think it's 50%, right? Christianity does not even control America 50%. But Islam, I'm sorry, I think it's like a good 80%, right? A good 80%. I mean, can you blame them, DA, if you know the statistics that I give you about marriages? Just saying, yeah, I mean, they're trying to weasel out.
If it's the case, it's Islam, okay, then you are saying effectively it's a sufficient cause. It literally goes back to every single point that you make.
Okay, so I need to know what you're saying. Are you saying that if there are any other factors involved in society, we cannot say Islam is a cause of more war?
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying the opposite. I'm saying even if it's the case, there are other factors, okay? It's in order for Islam to be the reason as to why this is the case, it would have to be prevalent in every single one of those Islamic societies, okay? But since it's the case that we observe the opposite, where it's not the case in every single society, so for example, if we're going to take the violence thing, Pakistan versus UAE, right? What we observe is that due to the fact that one of them is more affluent than the other one, there is less violence that is occurring, correct?
More affluent, so if there's more wealth is what you mean? Yeah. More wealth does decrease interstate armed conflict. Another factor.
But both of them have two factors that are being weighted right now. Okay, one of them is going to be the wealth, the other one's going to be Islam in and of itself. Okay, but what we find is that not both of them have these issues occurring in them at the same rate. Correct?
Yeah, not at the same rate. Yeah, that's why they have to be weighed.
So it can't be due to specific. And by the way, that also, the part about the UAE and the violence part, there's still going to be poverty-stricken areas in the UAE, such that those violence or that violent stuff can occur in those areas, right? But typically, the more affluent areas, you don't find that there. Correct?
The more affluent areas, yes, will have less fighting.
Right, it's typically in the areas that have fundamentalist views, correct?
Absolutely.
Not traditionalist ones.
Yes.
Right, not traditionalist views, correct?
Depends on how you define traditionalist or fundamentalist.
Meaning people who just want to take their own interpretation as opposed to those who are taking an orthodox interpretation of Islam.
We're getting way off topic. This is irrelevant to the point, though.
What you're trying to do, directly to the point.
What you're trying to do is trying to say that if we can show any other factor, then we can say that's the cause of the interstate armed conflict. But that's not how that works.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you can't come to the conclusion that it is because of Islam that this is the reason. No,
it is one of the reasons.
Okay, yes, one of the reasons. Hold on, one of the reasons.
Thank you. It is one of the reasons. That's all I wanted.
In the same way that Christianity was one of the reasons why the Crusades happened, why it was one of the reasons why.
God, no one is fucking saying about the past. Why are you so stuck on the fucking past? Right? We are talking about the results. We are talking about today. I absolutely abhor people that are constantly digging up the past to justify today. What the fuck you mean? That is not a reasoning for today. That is not that's not a good justification. That's not a good excuse. That's not a good example for today. Are you kidding me?
The Jews were persecuted and Muslims saved them afterwards. It goes the same way both ways. That's
it's one of the
whole
reasons.
point.
I don't know what's going on with Canada. Is Islam a big is spreading across Canada? Is Islam a big? I know Islam is a big. It's a big influence in the UK. Is it a big influence in the Canada?
In the same way that Christianity was one of the
Which is
reasons.
producing less conflict.
Depends on what time period you're talking about. Because if we're talking about back then, we were talking about the
Which has
Crusades.
produced a society that has produced less conflict.
Depends on the time period, like I just said.
Today, right now.
let's say now.
Which all of history together. Which has produced societies that have less conflict?
Depends on which societies we're talking about still.
Islamic
Because if we're
versus Christian.
Hold on. Because there are different Islamic and Christian societies,
Okay,
correct?
which has produced less conflict?
Okay, fine. I'll answer your question. No problem. I'm going to compare Mexico and the UAE. UAE
Oh
has
my
definitely
goodness.
done it less.
Okay, so we're now gonna cherry pick samples
Well,
here, guys.
That's effectively what you're saying.
He's not cherry picking. He's saying Christianity and Islam. He's not saying Pacific nations.
Only today. Who is better, Christianity or Islam?
Look at what just happened.
Nice, man.
Hey, man,
We
even
just
that agrees
cherry
with
picked because she knows that the Islamic society at large has produced worse countries with more
Well, I just
child
gave you an
marriage,
example.
more consanguineous marriages, more abuse,
What about
and now
Brazil?
more conflict. Okay, this is all coming out of Islam, and we just saw that. That's why this is what the data shows. At the end of the day, this is not a debate. This is just one of us talking about the numbers and one of us trying to get rid of the numbers.
Brazil's got those high numbers of consanguineous marriage as well, and it's a Christian country.
Okay?
Is
Who produces less?
Is Christianity a reason?
Who produces less?
Right, is
Brother,
Christianity
the
a
whole
reason for
point
that?
is that
produces
you're
less?
going based off of a particular Islamic country or a few particular ones. It's not the case in every single Islamic
I
country.
agree.
Good. So is it the case that it's like that in every
But
single...
he's saying as a whole. Bitch, shut up. This is why you shouldn't talk. I'm sorry. Like, he's saying as a whole, right? Stop cherry picking as a whole, right? As a whole, right? You can use the ones that are extreme, you can use the one that's not. But when you combine everything, the average.
single Christian country?
No.
Good. So then that can't be a factor to
It
say
is a
one is
factor.
better than or worse than the
Here's
other.
what you're not getting.
Oh my
when
God.
you factor in all the countries, you see this as a reoccurring thing where you're going to get more consanguineous marriages.
Yes,
you're
we
gonna
find
get
it in both
Hold on, let
Christianity
me
and
finish.
Islam.
I just let you talk.
You find it in both.
I just let you talk.
Good.
It's going to be okay.
Go ahead.
It's okay. We're still seeing that after that is all weighed. For example, you brought up Brazil, but there are other weighting factors there. So when we take all the Christian countries together, what are we going to get? Well, it doesn't seem Christianity as a motivating factor. We see this as more cultural. But when we look at the Islamic societies, we still see it vastly there after it's weighed. So this still works against you.
Thank
because
you
we're still
for proving my point.
Hold up.
You literally just proved my point.
My
that it's
point
literally-
that Islam is causing more problems?
My point is specifically that it cannot be tied to one particular thing, such as religion,
Once
and,
again, I
and,
never
and
said
it
that.
cannot be a sufficient cause.
Once
like
again, I
you
never
just
said
said,
that.
like you just said when you were using the example of Brazil, you said culture, society, economics, all of these different things are factors, correct?
Brian, did I ever say that one...
Appeal to Brian fallacy.
Did I ever say that Islam is the only cause of these
I
problems?
didn't say only. I said
Exactly.
sufficient
Thank
cause.
you.
You're
Thank
literally,
you.
you're
And you
purposely
keep,
not
you
listening.
keep trying to...
Have I said only or I said sufficient?
That is completely
Thank you,
irrelevant.
thank you. No,
So
it's
keep
literally
strawmanning me.
not.
So you're strawmanning me.
I'm strawmanning you.
Yes, you
That's
are.
literally been my point since the beginning of when you first started your arguments. I'm asking
Sufficient
you-
cause?
Yes.
Yes, it is one of the sufficient causes.
Oh my God, that's not what a sufficient cause is.
Then you're just finding it out of existence.
No, a sufficient cause. A sufficient
primary
cause.
number one.
No, not even primary number one. It's
See, you didn't
literally
get what you're saying.
Okay, it literally means that it is sufficient. It is not. Nothing else is necessary in order for us to observe this particular thing to occur in a society.
And that's not
that
the
doesn't mean that other factors can't come into play and then increase this afterwards.
Exactly.
Okay, what you're supposed to
Exactly.
try and prove is that beyond 50%, let's say, okay, beyond a 50% chance, that every single time we observe Islam in a society, that this is the case that it's going to occur, and then the more these other factors are brought into play, the more we're going to see this particular thing occur. But you haven't done that. All you're doing is picking at particular countries, particular rates, particular factors, and saying, oh, Islam is worse because of this. But then when we bring you to certain examples as it pertains to your own theology, as it pertains to your own book, as it pertains to the history of your beliefs, or not your beliefs specifically, but Christianity in general, you don't address those things because those same things can be observed in those same countries, same history, same books, etc.
You know why he doesn't address it? Because he's talking about the results. You need to bring up certain things, right? You need to bring up the past. You need to bring up, certain countries. You need to cherry pick. He's talking about on average, in general, right? It's like, in general, women love tall men. Oh, what? That woman doesn't love a tall man. That woman doesn't love torment. Bitch, who said all? No one said all. This is the problem with so many people who wants to be, they're disingenuous, right? They're disingenuous because no one is talking about all, right? We are talking about in general, what is producing the best results, right? Not all Christian nations are the best, right? So when you have 5 Christian nations, right? And 4 of them are the best, or let's say 3 of them are the best, 2 of them are terrible. When you have 5 Muslim countries, right? 2 of them are great or the best or whatever, and then 3 are terrible. Guess what? Right? Guess what? Christian nations are producing more better results.
So you have to actually engage with some of this stuff instead of just saying, well, it was.
Is it still part of the UK? Is Canada actually part of the UK? I mean, I know that I know that they have a history with UK, but are they still part of the UK? I don't think so.
Just Islam.
So once again, I am not, because I didn't perform the studies. The experts did. They had the weighed factors, and they found Islam is a contributing factor in these instances. It is definitely making societies more violent, causing more abuse, linked to more consanguineous marriages, more child marriage. These are all bad. And because of that, Islam is worse for societies. When we look at all the countries, what do we find? We don't just pick out UAE and Mexico. We look at all of them because we have recognized in these countries there are other factors that are going to weigh those kinds of things. More wealth is going to cause less violence. Everyone agrees on that. But also, religious ideology is going to cause less or more violence. Religious ideology of Christianity, less, according to the research. Islam, more.
Canada has a king? Is that true? What? Canada does have a king. Really? Wow. So I did not know that. Yeah, I thought that, but I guess the king is Canada's head of state. He's the head of state. In practice, he does not run the government. That's interesting. The king is represented in Canada by Mary Simon. The head of the government is the prime minister, currently Mark. I guess it's just a figurehead, right? It's like a puppet, or it's just a figurehead. No, I did not know that. So they just have like just a figurehead, which is weird. What's the point? I mean, I don't get it. What's the point of having him as the king? It's weird.
According to the research. Go ahead.
Okay, so wealth is a cause of violence. So therefore, we should blame wealth. We should blame wealth. Someone wants to rob somebody else. So therefore, the problem is the money that he has.
What on earth are you talking about?
What I'm saying here is that your argument is a bit ridiculous to me.
The study research is ridiculous.
What I'm saying here is that you're basically trying to blame Islam for certain things. And so it's no different than blaming money. Well, if someone wants to do a robbery, so you blame money for that.
Sir, I agree that if you have less wealth, if you have a society that has less wealth, poverty is a contributing factor to more violence.
No,
I agree with you there. However, religious ideology does as well. For example, you guys communists? Anyone a communist here?
No.
Communism is bad, right? Okay, communism is an ideology that produces far inferior economic progress. So if you have communism in Russia, where they have a ton of resources, they had inferior economic progress. If you have communism in Somalia, where they don't have as much resource, that's going to produce even worse results. So when you take an ideology and infuse it in society, it's going to affect outcomes. When you take Christianity and you infuse it in America, okay, it's going to produce better results than if you did it with Islam. Now, if you go to, for example, like Ethiopia, which is poorer, less resources, it's going to have worse results because of other factors. But ideology is still a contributing factor that's going to lead to more violence. That's my point. And by the way, I'm not saying that. The experts like Davis Brown are saying that. Monica Duffy-Toff, Jonathan Fox, these guys ran the numbers and they go, yep, Islam is definitely producing inferior societies because of things like conflict.
Okay. I just one small question. Do you think that if, for example, if we were to go.
Yeah, I think these people weren't doing great with their what is it? Talking points. I think they really it was shitty. They didn't do Um, I want to check out another video. Check out anything, all right? Just to.
Hello, my dears.
All right, I want to check. I want to finish with this woman, right? I kind of like her content. Her content is pretty decent. So, she is. I forgot what's her name. I like her videos. Patience, Xena Patience. So it's pretty decent. Let's check it out. Support Black businesses until something better comes along. So I've been talking a lot about this whole on my TikTok, right? If you check out my TikTok, I do talk a lot about this, right, with the Black businesses and stuff like that. So we'll finish out with this one.
Remember when everyone was preaching that you should support Black-owned businesses? Well, turns out that was harder to commit to than some people expected.
This is about to sound so anti-Black of me, but I just went to a white hairstylist for the first time in my life. Let me just explain to you, start to finish, this process, and then I think you'll understand what I mean, okay? So I needed to get my hair straightened, mostly because I needed a trim. And I asked one of my Black coworkers, because her hair, she's like a straight natural, she always wears it straight. I was like, where do you go to get your hair done? She goes, I go to this white lady, but hear me out. She's amazing. Like, would highly recommend. She knows how to do hair. She knows how to do our hair. Like, trust me, just try her. I was like, I feel skeptical, but I go in. Sweet lady. So she shampoos my hair. Great, fine. She gets done with my hair. She's like, okay, your hair's a little dry. I'm going to go ahead and do a deep conditioning treatment. I was like, great. Sounds great. She's like, but we've got to sit under the hood dryer. I was like, great. So I sit under the hooded dryer. I get out. She washes my conditioner out. Gets going. She's like, okay, let's start to blow this out. Pulls out her Denman brush. I said, honey, where'd you hear about that?
I do have to ask, what kind of hairbrushes do American women have? Because when I googled what a Denman brush was, it looks like a bog standard brush. So I'm kind of confused as to why she was amazed that this hairstylist had one.
Uses the Denman brush, blows out my hair. Gorgeous, by the way. In small sections, beautiful. Took her time. I didn't have to worry about my hair being yanked and pulled out and breaking off. She gets done. She's like, okay, let's go ahead and straighten. She pulls out her rat tail comb.
I do honestly think this girl is really funny, and I think if there's going to be one positive thing to happen from this shift is that misconceptions are going to be broken. Because despite what we're regularly taught or told to believe, women are not that different despite coming from different backgrounds. So yeah, there are a lot of white women who use rat tail combs frequently.
I said, you're about to use that? She said, I'm about to use that. I said, I was wrong. Let me just get out of your business. Let me let you handle what you know how to handle. She did my whole hair, trimmed me. I said, this was beautiful, wonderful, gorgeous. Thank you for all you do. Oh, by the way, also curled my hair at the end. I say, hey, how much do I owe you? She says, $80. I said, is there one before the 80 or maybe a two before the 80? Cause like, that's kind of what I'm used to. So I was like, are you sure that that's the right number? She's like, yeah. Handed it over willingly, and then some. I have fine hair, but I have very dense hair. I have a lot of hair. And even when I mentioned that on my own, I was like, yeah, just so you know, I got a lot of hair. She was like, yeah, you do have a lot of hair, but isn't that a blessing? I was like, what? She said, it's just, I was like, yeah, but curly hair is a lot of work. She was like, yeah, but it's so worth it. I was like, you're more pro-Black than most of the stylists that I go to who see my head of hair and then say, hey, gotta charge you $100 more because you've got a lot going on and this is like kind of too much to deal with. More affirming than any stylist I've ever been to in my life. And now I'm sitting here like, I'm sure it's not every white stylist. I'm sure I found a golden ticket, but I'm sorry. To the stylists who have touched my hair before, you simply aren't going to see me anymore. And I feel so bad because I love supporting Black business. I love it. It's in my blood.
And continue it. Shut the fuck up then. Continue it. Continue it. I hate this BS, right? I love support Black business, but I don't want to. So do you actually love it? It doesn't make sense when you love something, you don't want to do it. Does that make sense? It doesn't make sense to me, right? Please explain me the logic. Why do you love something? You love something. Love. Right? You love something, but you don't want to do it. Where's the sense in that? I do these Kendra G reaction videos, right? All these women say, I'm loyal. I'm loyal. Okay. In all your relationships, who broke up with who? I broke up with all of them. How fucking loyal are you when you're the one who constantly leave? Is that loyalty? Is that loyalty when you're the one who's always leaving? How's that loyalty? You left. You left 100% of the time. That's not loyalty in my book. And this isn't love. How do you love something you don't want to do anymore? It's like literally, there's no logic to that.
You know what I mean? But I just, knowing what I know now, I can't go back. You know what I mean?
But her video did go viral, and it sparked a very interesting conversation with other Black women also sharing their 2 cents on the topic.
This is about to be so controversial, but that lady was just talking about her experience with a white hairstylist, basically saying how this white hairstylist did a phenomenal job, washed her hair, deep conditioned her hair, put her under the hooded dryer, took out a rat tail comb, Denman brush, took her time, did an amazing job to only say it was $80, right? And she was basically saying how we need to stop sleeping on them because, you know, when you go and support these Black stylists, they don't want to wash your hair. They want to charge you $300 for something so basic. And all I gotta say is, I told y'all. Okay, I've been told y'all. I went to a freaking a hairstylist. She cut my hair for me and she was white. Okay, and this was when I was in school for it, and she did the best job of a cut that I've ever experienced in my life. I don't know what it is with the Black girls, but some of them don't even be licensed and they be charge you up the ass. It's like it's because Black hairstyling, when everybody was like, oh, support Black business, those Black business owners.
This is the stupidity, right? Right now, if you don't know, right? This is probably, I don't know when I will post this. I'm gonna post this separately. It is, June 20th, 2026. Okay. We are having Black people online on TikTok saying, stop supporting Asian businesses, support Black businesses. All you care about is the race, right? You don't care about the quality. You don't care about the character. You don't care about the service. You don't care about nothing. Support the race. That is it. Cool, right? Do the fuck what you want, right? It's your money. You could do what you want with your money. But you are showing your racism because all you care about is the race. That is it. You don't care about the character of the person. You don't care about the quality of the work. You don't care about the cost. You don't care about nothing. That is your insanity right there, right? Here are people showing you that you're crazy. You're delusional. There are people that are good no matter what. If all you care about is race, fine. Support Black businesses. But that just shows you that how intertwined with race you are. I think, in my honest opinion, Black people care about race more than any other group. White people don't care about race as much as Black people. Asian people, Hispanic, any other fucking group in this world does not care about race as much as Black people. Right? It's only out of Black people's mouth, Black businesses. You don't hear white people saying white businesses. You don't hear Asian people saying Asian businesses. You don't hear Hispanic people calling, Hispanic business. You don't hear, in my opinion, my FYP, whatever, you don't hear this, right? You don't hear any other group saying, oh, I'm going to support businesses of my own people. You don't hear that. Now, they may shop there. They may shop in Asian businesses or whatever, but it's not because it's being Asian, right? It's because of what it has, right? What you get, what service you get, what product you get. It's the business itself, right? It's not because of the owner, right? I don't go to an Asian business because I know the owner is an Asian, right? A Chinese person, a Vietnamese person. I don't do that. I don't care. No Asian person cares, right? We don't give a shit if that business is run by a white man. Who cares, right? Because you're using your money for a purpose. The purpose is to get your shit, right? It's ridiculous.
Really took that and started just charging you, like saying like, oh, you'll pay a white girl for this, da da da. Like the white girls aren't even charging that much because when you go to hair school, they tell you how much you're supposed to art.
It is quite funny actually, because this has kind of become its own like genre on TikTok, where there are a lot of black women going to white hairstylists and documenting the experience. And I would definitely say that it's helping to normalize going to hairstylists from different backgrounds.
Okay, I actually really love this one because
And, you know, this is the problem with black businesses, right? Black businesses are very segregated. Black businesses are very racist in nature. Black businesses. They don't cater to nobody else but black people. That is it. Black businesses hope that only black people, right, would go to them, right? They call themselves, or they moniker themselves, or they promote themselves as black businesses, right? Guess what? Why would a white person go to a black business? Because it's not promoted. It's not geared towards to be, to be very open to other races. It's very exclusive. It's very inclusive, right? There's a barrier around black businesses. You don't feel welcome. You don't feel welcome in black businesses, right? Let's say black food. They don't have a variety of food that gears towards other people. Even Chinese food, right? There's your stereotypical American Chinese food. Guess what? That's not Chinese, right? That's not really Chinese food. That is American. It's developed, it's made for the American people. It's not Chinese food, right? It's not the same type of food you will get in China, right? It's specifically made for Americans. So it's not made for Asian people, right? Now, of course, Asian people will eat it and stuff like that, but it's not made specifically for Asian people. So it's not inclusive, right? It's not to, block or deter other people. It's not. It's made specifically for the American audience. Unlike black businesses, they're not made for a wide variety of people. They're not. Soul food, I'm sorry, that's not made really for people outside of the black American community. It's not, right? Because let's be honest, other people don't eat soul food, right? Not in the, not the majority of other races eat soul food. So they don't gear their products to the masses. They gear their products to that only group, right? To the only black demographic. Well, this is the thing where I support American businesses, right? But again, it's for all of Americans.
I see a black hairstylist. What I love about her the most is what she has done for my...
Well, but see, that's the thing, right? So, and apparently only American businesses are white, supposedly. But the problem is that white people, let's be honest, they're smarter. I'm going to be honest. White people are smarter. They are at least economically and financially smarter than black people. Controversially. You're going to hate me or what? I don't care. Because guess what? White people, they don't discriminate when it comes to money, right? White people don't discriminate when it comes to money because they want a black person buying their shit. They want an Asian person buying their shit. They want a Hispanic person buying their shit because it's money. It's all green. That's it. That's the mindset. Asian people think the same. I would never see an Asian person say, I don't want a white person shopping here. Right? I don't want a black person shopping here. No, I've never seen that shit. Shop here because we all want your money. Plain and simple. Right? You still, your money will be good no matter what. That's the problem. American businesses, white businesses, right? Apple would not say, oh, this is a white business. Fuck that, right? Amazon will never say, oh, this is a white business. Google will never say this is a white business, right? They know that that's stupid. Yet the black community idiotically don't mind calling their businesses black businesses, black owned businesses. Who gives a shit? Great that it's owned by a black person. So what? But shit like that deters other people because shit like that makes other people believe it's only meant for black people.
My youngest daughter. So my youngest daughter has ADHD and autism, and she has super, super curly hair. And this growing up, especially when she was younger, was a constant battle with her. And we would go to lots of different stylists, and we would express our problems with this, and no one would really take the time to teach either of us how to take care of my daughter's beautiful curly hair. Until we started going to my favorite black stylist. And she was like, I got you. She took my daughter.
You know what? Like, and that's great, right? I think one of the biggest problem, right? A little while ago, I think maybe a couple years ago, the whole, when you see white people with braids, right? That showed me, I'm sorry. I'm going to be, it's going to sound like I'm racist, but whatever. I don't care. This is why the black community, as in general, is stupid. When you saw white people having braids, cornrows, and shit like that, what happened? Cultural appropriation. Cultural appropriation. Are you stupid? Make money off of that shit. Right? Why wasn't the black community making money off of that shit? Like, you want cornrows? I'll do it for you. Right? You want braids? I'll do it for you. Right? Come on in, white people. Let me do your hair. Let me do it for you. No. Cultural appropriation. Cultural appropriation. Are you stupid? Are you stupid? You're literally burning money. You're literally turning away money. See that? You see that? That's the mindset. That is thanks to, I'm sorry, the racism of the black community. That is the problem with the black community. They don't know they can't get out of the shackles, right? They can't get out of the shackles of racism. Are you stupid? You had money to be made, right? There was money to be made. All these white people that wanted braids, that wanted cornrows and shit like that, guess what? Because of your attitude, they went to white people, right? And got that shit. Or they didn't even get it at all. They don't even do it at all. So you just lost money, right? You just lost money from the white demographic, which is, what is it? 60 or 70% of the population? Are you kidding me? You just lost money from the majority of the population. Big bars. What is up, my brother? What is up?
And sat her in her chair and was so kind and so gentle and was just like, listen, this is why your hair is doing what it's doing. And this is how you need to take care of it so it doesn't do that. And really broke things down for her very easy. Took the time to show her product to use in her hair and how to do it in a way that was very manageable for my daughter. And it made all the difference. So how about we just normalize going to the person that does the best job with the hair and does the things we want them to do and treats us great, where we leave feeling great about how we look and how we feel and want to go back again.
I completely agree. Bring back
100%. This is the thing where this is the problem with, right, with the whole, like I said, currently how there's a group of black people online saying, stop supporting Asian businesses, support black businesses. How about stop supporting businesses that don't want you, that don't respect you, that don't cater to you, that don't treat you well? Okay, if it's Asian businesses, fine. But it's like, you think black business will always treat you well? You think black businesses automatically, because it's black, it treats you perfectly? It does? No. Stop. It's like I said, it is black people that care about race. Stop it with that BS. Care about character, right? Care about personality. Care about customer fucking service, right? Go to where they treat you the best, or they treat you well, right? I don't care if it's black. I don't care if it's Asian. I don't care if it's white. Go to a place that treats you well, right? If you've been going to an Asian business for, I don't know, years, and they've been treating you well, and then suddenly the whole Rick Chow shit, right? And I say, oh, I'm done with Asian businesses. Bitch, why? Did they not treat you well? Did not the business that you've been going to treat you well? And now you stop going to them because what? They're Asian? Are you kidding me? Right? You literally only care about their race. They literally treat you well. And now, because of some other BS, right? Whatever, you don't care. You want to just go to, it has to be black. That's the stupidity of it, right? Choose the place that honestly treats you well, right? And that's the problem. They're not choosing places that treat them well. They're choosing places that are racially aligned. It's like, I swear to God, do black people not segregate themselves, right? Like you want to be on an island by yourself. I get it, right? Fine. Find a fucking hole and go ahead. It's like, are you kidding me? It's like, do you not promote diversity? Do you not promote, it's like you not promote the melting pot, it's like, seriously.
Picking people based on skill and ability as opposed to what their identity or their background is. But to be honest, I think a lot of people are already moving in that direction, because I've been seeing a lot more examples of this where people are starting to realize that their ideological beliefs are a lot harder to stick to when they're tested under pressure. People seem to be abandoning loyalty everywhere, to be honest, whether it's the people who say that you should support small local businesses but also regularly using Amazon because it's cheaper and more convenient, or the people who criticize things like slavery and exploitative labor practices yet will purchase things or travel to countries that use those very practices. What I've generally noticed is that people love principles right up until the point where they require actual sacrifice. Because once...
Exactly. This is why Asian people don't care, right? The amount of black people online that are saying, oh, stop going to Asian businesses. Fine, right? Do what you want. We know how people think, right? We know how people think. At the end of the day, Asian people will continue to move forward, right? You want to stick to your ideology, go for it, right? We all know that, people, they boycott Target, still shop at Target. They boycott Amazon, still shop at Amazon. They boycott Starbucks, still shop at Starbucks. So do whatever you want, right? No one is putting a gun to anyone's head and making you go to where you don't want to go, right? So, but I think it's just ridiculous. It's just more identity politics.
that happens, suddenly people's care and values become a lot more conditional. And I get it, as people start battling with things like inflation and the cost of living, these things start to matter less compared to other factors like convenience, self-interest, and survival. But this isn't a shift that's only limited to material goods and services. I've also just noticed this shift across the board. And I think we're all kind of guilty of it. You know, like the people who acknowledge that too much screen time is not great, but yet we still find ourselves doom scrolling. And I can also think of multiple high-profile cases where people have publicly signaled their values or their principles only for us to witness them clashing with how they live their everyday lives. Like, for example, when Prince Harry declared his concerns about the climate.
As we sit here today, our world is on fire. Again. And these historic weather events are no longer historic. More and more, they are part of our daily lives. And this crisis will only grow worse, unless our leaders lead. Unless the countries represented by the seats in this hallowed hall make the decisions, the daring, transformative decisions, of every right thing to do.
And he has a lot of concerns about climate change, to the point where he and Meghan even pledged that they would only have 2 children because of their climate change fears. So when we witness Harry and Meghan traveling around in private jets because he expresses that he feels concerned for his family if he was to travel commercial, it shows that even people who are very public about their principles can become more flexible once those principles start conflicting with their personal priorities. We've also seen these tensions appear.
It's the hypocrisy, right? You say it, you don't do it, right? Oh, you're 2 children, right? You're 2 children. Great, right? So what, right? It's like you having 2 children does what? It doesn't save the world, right? Oh my God, I'm only gonna have 2 children. Okay, now you just saved the world? Fuck that shit. You're stupid as shit, right?
With other movements like the body positivity movement or fat acceptance. Celebrities built their entire brand around rejecting traditional beauty standards and embracing their bodies exactly as they are, to the point where some were literally posting affirmations directed at their stomachs.
I love you so much. I love you so much. Thank you.
She loved it so much, she got rid of it, right? This is, again, what I said. You love it so much, I'm gonna pay thousands of dollars to get rid of it. Shut up, bitch. Shut up, right? You love it so much, I'm going to cut it off. You love it so much, I'm going to pay thousands of dollars for a doctor to get rid of it.
So much for keeping me happy, for keeping me alive. Thank you. I'm going to continue to listen to you. You deserve all the space in the world to breathe.
But now, as Hollywood rapidly becomes thinner again, with Ozempic making the rounds, we're also watching some of those same figures.
Oh, look at that. You love it so much, right? It's keeping you alive, right? Oh, you love it so much, you got rid of it. You stupid bitch.
Lose weight and gradually reshape what body positivity means to them in a way that aligns more closely with the new direction they personally want to move in.
The weight that is no longer on me is not just fat or physical. I released so much to get to this point. And I think people can see that. And I don't want to describe anything as loss. I'm not experiencing any loss. I've actually gained so much. I've gained a sense of self. I gained.
Did you gain fat? Yeah, Harry's weak as fuck. Little Lizzo's dumb as hell. Exactly.
A lifestyle that I actually really love. I've gained new perspectives on.
Yeah, a healthier lifestyle. Yeah, ain't that something? I thought you loved the fat lifestyle.
Nutrition and the science behind cardio or weightlifting. Like it's exciting.
All about losing that fucking belly, right? I find the body positivity crew, right? The body positivity people are stupid as shit. I'm not saying you're fat, fine. If you love it, you love it. But let's be honest, you don't. No one loves it. No one fucking loves to be fat. If tomorrow they can get rid of all their fat, they would do it. I would do it, right? If I could be skinny tomorrow, I would do it. But I'm gonna be honest, I'm lazy. I don't have no motivation. I'm not, I'll admit it. It's my fault. I don't blame nobody for it. But I'm not gonna delusion. Oh, I love this. I love it. No, I don't fucking love it. Right?
To me, people aren't going to understand this right now, but it's the most body positive way to experience what I'm going through.
Others even wrote songs with lyrics like, "You know I won't be no stick figure silicone Barbie doll," only to later end up looking very...
Oh, look at that shit. Look at that shit. Look at that hypocrisy. The fucking hypocrisy there. Ain't that something? I love people's hypocrisy. I really do.
Very similar to the thing that they once rejected. And that's not necessarily to say that these people never believed these things when they said them.
They never believed it. They never fucking believed it, right? They forced themselves to believe it. The fat people force body positivity on themselves. Because guess what? It is easier than exercising. I 100%, right? It's easier than exercising. Look at what she showed you, right? Millionaires. If you had the money, every single fucking fat person, right? If they had the money, they would get rid of that fat today, right? So much body positivity, but you would get rid of it today if you had the money.
I do think that they probably did, and human beings are just complicated. One of our little quirks is our ability to hold very contradictory beliefs at the same time. Or sometimes people...
This is the thing where, right? To hold contradictory beliefs at the same time is that you delude yourself. It's the ability to delude yourself. Human beings are very delusional people, right? We are very delusional. Right? It's easy to, because we go for the path of least resistance. It is easier, right, to delude yourself than to be realistic.
People just generally change their minds over
Exactly. They won't say they're wrong.
time. But I do still think that these people are an example of a much broader cultural pattern, which is that people are much more willing to shift their values or their principles when things like social pressure, self-interest, and convenience enter the chat. And this is kind of why I honestly think the whole support Black-owned businesses thing was always destined to be short-lived. Because for a long time, the assumption was that community loyalty or identity should be enough to secure long-term loyalty. But as people stop approaching how they do business from an emotional place and start prioritizing other things like convenience and what they personally gain from it, as people become more individualistic and a bit more transactional in terms of how they do things,
people are very individualistic, right? People are very selfish. At the end of the day, you care about yourself more than the greater good, right? I mean, let's be honest. You could see it, let's say in our birth rate. You will care more about how you feel rather than, let's say, the continuation of the human race.
It's kind of inevitable that these things...
Yes, people in mass are weak, 100%, right? In mass, people in general are very weak. This is the thing, why do you think it's easy for you to be brainwashed? Why do you think propaganda is easy, right? Why do you think, sheeps? People are sheeps, right? Everything. People are easily sheeps. Easily. People are easily swayed.
things were not going to last. Because now, rather than caring simply about identity or what community someone is from, people are asking better questions like, is this actually worth the money? Am I getting a good service? And am I actually being treated well? And if the answer to those questions is no, then people are just a lot less willing to just ignore that just for the sake of someone's identity.
If I choose to not spend my black money with a black-owned business because they disrespect their black customers and you call me anti-black, I'm going to assume you're black and slow.
But we can definitely see why this initial...
I've said this, right? I don't care if black people want to not support certain businesses. It's the insanity that you don't want to support Asian businesses, right? Because you want to support black businesses. Support the business that treats you well. That's it, right? Support the business that benefits you. That's capitalism, right? That's the American way. But you want to do it because of racial politics, racial identity? Stupid.
Actually took off and why it initially had a lot of support, because human beings are tribal. It's very natural for...
Human beings are tribal. I've said this before. We are not racist. We are tribal. Tribal. And tribal doesn't even have to do with race. It could be gender. It could be political.
For us to want to support people who we perceive as being part of our in-group. So there was nothing really strange about the movement beginning or taking off to begin with. But modern society generally pushes people much more towards individualism and transactional mindsets when it comes to how they spend their money. And so eventually things like convenience and self-interest were always going to override these more natural tribal instincts. And I honestly think another reason why this whole white hairstylist discourse became so viral on social media is because a lot of black women have very quietly been having these internal conflicts for a long time now. It has been a common complaint for some time now that some black hairstylists are unfortunately unprofessional, overpriced, and have very poor time management. It's actually kind of funny because as I was preparing this video popped up on my reels.
After getting close to finishing her braids, she encountered the most unexpected problem.
Yeah, I thought it was 5 braids. You booked 5? Yeah, I did. It's okay. 6 looks good on you. Okay. So now you have 6. Yeah, it's not a lot of money. It's just 25 extra. 25 extra? Yeah. No, but I booked for 5. Yeah, I know, but you should have said that when I was like right here or something. You waited till it's done. Yeah, I wasn't looking. I just realized that I don't have the extra 25 to pay for that. Alright, so I'm going to take it out. I'm going to do 5. Take it out? Yeah, you said you want 5. No, but that's just going to add more time to it. You should at least give me like a credit or something. But it's work. It's my time.
Now, I have no idea whether this is a real, genuine video or if it's a skit, but it is pretty reflective of some of the experiences that some people have had with some black hairstylists. Now, to be clear, there are some amazing black hairstylists.
And it's not even about the race. If they don't treat you well, go somewhere else. That's it, right? I'll say the same thing with an Asian business, right? If that Asian business does not treat you well, go somewhere else. I mean, if it just so happens you go to a black business that treats you better, great. But it's like you just cared about the race. You don't care about the service. You don't care about any other factors, right? Any other factors but race. That is stupid.
I myself have had positive experiences with black hairstylists. However, I can also relate to the negative experiences that people have had because I've also had my fair share of those. Proving once again that it's not the identity that matters, but the character and the level of professionalism, which is why I have no concerns about this discourse. I've seen some people saying that, you know, having these kind of conversations is really bad because it's going to make black businesses look bad. However, I disagree with that because I think that ultimately what is happening right now,
you know, it's not about making black business look bad. It's about waking people up. Stop fucking thinking about race. Stop it. I swear to God, if we get rid of the words black, white, whatever, right? Whatever racial connotations you want. If we get rid of it, we'll be so much better off.
Is that the automatic support that people think they should give to people because of what they look like, that seems to be dying out and people are not as interested in doing that. And the black-owned businesses that are great because they had much more to offer from the beginning than just their identity, they're going to continue to thrive because people aren't going to stop supporting them when they're quite clearly offering a great service or providing a good product. So I have no concerns for those businesses. I think they will continue to thrive and continue to do very, very well because for them, their selling point was never what they look like. And to be honest, I think...
Exactly, right? You're not going to a black-owned business because it's black-owned. You're going to that business because it's a good business, right? Good customer service, good prices, good environment, a good place to go to. Stop doing that. Yeah, she's cute. She's cute.
That's the way that it should be, because as uncomfortable as some people might feel saying it, there are some who do feel like the whole support black-owned businesses discourse did unintentionally lead to a sense of entitlement among some black business owners. So I do actually think that this discourse is healthy, because unfortunately, once identity and community get intertwined with business, it becomes very complicated, because then suddenly people don't feel comfortable to make very genuine criticisms or raise genuine concerns about the quality of service they're receiving, because then it suddenly becomes, oh, so you don't want to support your own people.
Hey, check it out, man. Come buy something, man. Support black businesses. Yeah, man, I love supporting my brothers, man. Anything I gotta do, man. How much for the hoodie? 50. 50? Yo, how much for the shirt? 70. What? For a shirt? That's more than...
Yeah, why would the shirt cost more than the hoodie? The hoodie's more material.
The hoodie! Yo, can I get a beanie? Oh, that's 40. But we got a deal going on today. If you buy 4 beanies with the purchase of 6 t-shirts, you get the 5th beanie 2% off, but you gotta spend more than $800. What? Hell no! Oh, but you will buy clothes from JCPenney's and Ross and Walmart and all those other white-owned businesses. Yeah, because I can't afford it. You a coon.
You're a coon.
Wow. You really gonna play that card? You not woke, brother. You a coon. Because I can't afford your clothes? No, because your third eye is closed. Your coonery got you blind.
And so I feel like this culture was very toxic, because it essentially made a lot of black people feel as though they had to...
It is trying to force black guilt, right? It's trying to force black guilt onto black people. Oh, you don't support black business? You're a coon, right? You're not black. You're not black, right? White supremacy. You're suffering from white supremacists, right? What is it? Inner racism, whatever. It's like,
put up with being charged extortionate prices, receiving poor quality service, and I don't see how any of that is pro-black. Why is it pro-black to treat black people poorly, to overcharge them, and to also just not even treat them with the...
It's pro-black to think about yourself. It is pro-black to think about yourself. Because the black community has become less of a community, more of individualistic, right? They become more individualistic. It is no longer a community. It's no longer a family. It's just a bunch of individuals.
Basic level of respect. I think ultimately, regardless of what identity or background you come from, most people don't like feeling emotionally blackmailed or guilt-tripped into supporting anything or anyone. No one really...
Big bars! You're crazy.
Likes to feel obliged to give their money to someone or to give their support to someone, even if they don't feel...
But I gotta admit, a girl that's cute and smart, whew, that is cute. I mean, that is a great combo.
As though they're receiving a good quality service or getting anything great in return. Because it kind of became like a toxic relationship where you're scared to leave because you're being told that no one else is going to treat you as well as they're treating you, even though they're treating you terribly. So I do think that once people felt more comfortable to be more public about their experiences and being more open about the fact that, hey, I went elsewhere and I actually prefer it, once that started to become a lot more commonly discussed online, I think more people felt comfortable to admit that they had also done the same or that they were considering the same. It's almost as though it gave people permission to admit and the politics. People were forced to ask themselves a very important question. If something better came along, would I still be loyal? And the answer increasingly seems to be no. Which does mean that businesses will now have to retain their customers through actually providing a good quality
competitiveness, right? I'm sorry, this is the problem with a lot of black-owned businesses. They're not competitive. They are relying on black guilt. Black-owned businesses, in general, are relying on black guilt. You are shopping there, you are whatever, paying for a service because it's black. That is it. You're not paying for the service because it's good, because of quality, whatever. You're paying for the service because it's black. So it's black guilt. I agree. The community died in the 60s, 100%, right? The start of feminism, right? Once the black community became matriarchal, right? The death of the patriarchy in the black community where men were leading, that was the death
of service or a good product, which in my opinion is exactly how it should be. But those are my thoughts. I would love to...
It was not bad. I liked it. I like it. What do you guys think? I've said this. I think being a black-owned business is a death, right? Because you are relying on the black-owned part, right? You are relying on the black-owned part to sustain your business. I've seen plenty of people that promote, oh, it's black-owned, but so much complaints from the people that would only go to those businesses, black people, right? So Relying that you're black owned is a failure, in my opinion. Right? It's not going to do you any justice, or it's not going to do you any favors. I think being a business is the important part. But what do you guys think? All right. All skin folks ain't. I agree. I agree. Right? Again, it's about character, right? It's about character. It's about who you are inside, not your fucking skin, right? I consider plenty of black men my brothers, right? I consider plenty of black men my brothers, not because of their skin tone, right? Because of their character. So that's what I care about. All right, guys, I love you. That is it for tonight. Thank you for checking out the live. Big bars. I love you, my brother. Laughing Man, Brent, Dizzy was here. Alvi was here in the beginning. All right. I love you guys. You guys are amazing. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for checking out my video, checking out the live. Guys, please check out my other videos. Please check out my YouTube shorts. I think those are good, right? Those are like, if you don't follow me on TikTok, those are the same TikTok videos I put on my YouTube shorts. So those are still good. I think they're good. All right. That is it. Hope you guys have a good Saturday. Hope you have a good rest of your weekend. I love you guys, right? Big bar.